Up like this. Hit it.
The Roger Report live morning show. Weekdays at 9 a.m.
Say y'all, I was on Roger's panel a few times and I couldn't take it. The heat. I got out the kitchen. It was hot. I was sweating. I had to get out.
He's Roger, and he's right.
Check this out.
We can live or die. You choose. I have spoken to you a lot of times in hatred and anger, and you have not heard me. Well, you had better hear me today. If you won't listen to me when I make an appeal for the Negroes because you have no concern for the Negroes, listen to me when I make an appeal for America. You claim you love America. Well, we love America. But you are driving us back and you are making a Samson out of us, and we are going to pull down the pillar. And then you think we have no right to ask for something? Is it too much to ask you to grant us human dignity? Should we be put down and shot to death for this request? If so, you can aim your guns. What the hell do you think we care about dying if you're going to deny us the right to live?
Good morning, folks, and welcome to another edition of the Roger Report Live, the best show on social media. If you are new to the channel, go ahead and take a moment out to hit that like button, because this is where you're going to find the best content on social media, and you don't have to worry about it because you're going to have me right here to make sure that happens. And if you already been coming to the channel for a while, then go ahead and hit that like button, because you already know what time it is, and you know that this is where you're going to get the best content on social media. It's not a mystery to you at this point. You've seen other people do it. You've seen other people do it well, but you have not seen anyone do it quite the way I do it. So make sure you hit that like button, and everyone, yes, everyone, take a moment out to share the content, y'all. There are so many people who need to get great content like this, and it's just a small thing you can do to help the world be a better place. And isn't that what we want at the end of the day? Don't we want the world to be a better place? Of course we do. So share the content out, share it through your social media, share it through word of mouth, or even text someone's phone, but do what you got to do to help spread the word. All right, folks, we are back. We got another super interesting subject today. Karmelo Anthony. Is 35 years enough? Is 35 years enough? Now, before we get too far into this, because there's a whole lot to say, y'all, but before I get too far into this, first of all, I want to say shout out to the people who come through on a regular basis, because y'all make up the fam around here. Appreciate you big time. Appreciate you big time. Shout out to all the folks who take a moment out to share the content, y'all. Y'all are helping grow the channel, and I appreciate that very much. Shout out to all the people who hit that like button. You help the channel grow that way. Shout out even to the people who leave comments after the stream. Y'all leave some interesting stuff sometimes some silly stuff, but most times good, intelligent stuff. And I appreciate y'all big time. Okay, we had some silly stuff that came up over the last couple of days, but hey, that's to be expected. Okay, that's to be expected. And of course, shout out to people who go above and beyond the call of duty, the people who make financial contributions to the channel, which I'm going to thank a lot of y'all today, because I finally got this. I had a new device. I had an issue with it, got that resolved. So I can let it be known who is actually sending in the Cash App. So sorry about that delay, but I got it taken care of. Just got a brand new device, and we going to get that rolling in a minute. But shout out to each and every one of you. But a special shout out goes to Amazi. He is the sponsor of today's stream. So shout out to you, Amazi. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you, brother. Glad to see you back around. Glad to see you back around. And let me give a couple shout outs to some of my first people to check in this morning. Y'all know how it goes. There can only be one. So shout out to the Highlander of today's stream. My main man has done it again. Trail Bentley is in the house, representing as he always does. Hashtag long live habitual line steppers. Hashtag Negroes in the wilderness. Hashtag dignity over vagina. Hashtag Al Gore's babies. Hashtag Hell Hydra. Shout out to you, my brother. Shout out to you. Glad to see you here. Glad to see you here. We got Inspired Truth broadcast in the house coming in right behind him. The Nice Place, the Nice Palace is at the cool table right behind him. We got Little Rock in the building. Great to see you. Great to see you. Shout out to Bronk. What's happening, my brother? What's happening? Floyd Thompson is in the house. Yay, yay. Shout out to Music Man 1982. What's good, my brother? What's good? Y'all, and we about to get into this, y'all. Okay. Karmelo Anthony is 35 years enough. Now, as y'all know, we've been covering this. This is what my fourth stream on Karmelo Anthony. Didn't think I had to stream this one this quickly. I just said Monday that I'm pretty sure stuff will be over with by Friday. That's what I said. I did. Now I knew it didn't necessarily have to take till Friday, but I thought, okay, well, Friday probably will be good to get this wrapped up, and we get an answer and see what's going on. We get a weekend of what the heck done happened. But no, they moving a little bit quicker. And I see you backstage. I will bring you up, you know what I'm saying, later on. But I see you backstage just so you know. Okay, I guess this is on your heart a little bit. It's on your heart a little bit, which is cool. All right. Got some interesting comments on y'all from that stream we did on Monday, y'all. Now, I'm going to say what should not be a surprise to anyone. Now, I wasn't saying it because I didn't want to speak bad on the young man. But it doesn't happen now. So me saying it ain't making it happen. It already done happen. I think the obvious situation happened. Karmelo Anthony was convicted. Okay, if you have not heard, I don't know how you missed it, but if you have not heard, Karmelo Anthony has been convicted of murder. All right. Now, a lot of folks didn't want to believe something like this was going to happen. I pretty much knew it was going to happen. Heck, I even named the stream. Karmelo was clearly innocent, but they want to make him guilty. I don't know what. I don't know if I could have gave you a bigger clue than that. Okay. So I kind of knew what was going to happen. I just didn't want to say it. But what has happened in America time and time again has just happened again. Okay? They put an all-white jury together. They made sure he was going down. It's that simple at the end of the day. The little nigga got to go down. We cannot have this little nigga out here doing stuff like this, like speaking up for himself. We cannot have this nigga having a backbone out here. He can't be acting white now. And that's what it comes down to at the end of the day, y'all. There's a lot of people who've been a little bit perturbed by this particular situation. That doesn't surprise me either. I get why they perturbed. As I told y'all before, the issue is Karmelo won so fast, they didn't know how to respond. You know? Somebody tried to bully him. He responded so quickly, they never even laid a hand on him after that. The man, well, he was a boy at the time, but the boy was just too good. Okay, the boy was just too good. And he told him time and time again, all you got to do is leave me alone, and you're going to be all right. They made a point to not leave him alone to prove that he ain't about nothing. Well, that about nothing turned into something real quick. Okay, that about nothing turned into something real quick. Now, shout out to Terrence Forrest Jr. Always good to see you, brother. Always good to see you. He says, morning, Roger. He's going to appeal. He needs to have a better lawyer and needs to ensure that the trial is televised. Now, Look, I'm gonna say this. Of course, he's going to appeal. I honestly believe he's going to appeal. You know, I'm pretty sure that was going to be the case from Jump Street because I knew he was going to get convicted. I just never came out publicly saying he going to get convicted, but I knew the whole time. And which one of us really didn't know he was going to get convicted? I mean, once I saw it on TV, see, when you get a national story like this, white people go into a certain precedent where I can kind of tell what's going to happen the day I found out about the story. Did the same thing with Rittenhouse. You know, I told y'all, so once I found out it was a 17-year-old boy who crossed the state line, but he went to a niggas lover rally because that's in white folks here, that's what that was. That was a nigga lovers rally. I was like, yeah, they're gonna let him kill some folks because he white. He's too young. Now, maybe he was older, maybe something could happen there, but no, he was protecting the white folk. Okay, he was protecting the white folks by protecting businesses that were potentially to be harmed in some kind of way. Now, you go out there as a young white man and you protecting good white folk, it don't make no difference that you cross no state line. It don't make no difference that you got a gun and you ain't had your 18th birthday yet. You protecting good white folk. There was no way in the world they was going to let him go down. The same way I knew that because Karmelo Anthony handled his business so quick and he basically won, they ain't gonna let this nigga win in peace because he a nigga to them, you know? And I do understand some folks don't like me saying that, but I do think it is necessary to paint the true picture of what's going on. See, when you look at him as a good student. You look at him as a young man with a lot of potential. You look at you see a guy who's trying to do everything he can to stay out of trouble. When the white folks look at him, you know, white folks with pull, they see a nigga. And all that don't mean nothing to them. Truth be told, you know, they don't really want him around there no way. You know, a lot of white folks, especially even some that's more well-to-do, have made it clear that they don't even want niggas around. Now, I'm not going to say it's those white people, even though, based on what I could pick up from the town, that whole town basically was against them. Okay? All the white folk from that town was basically against them. So it wasn't that shocking to me that he was going to go down. I just didn't want to put that on him, you know, because power, you know, you got the power of spoken word. I wasn't going to speak that on his life, you know. Now, the thing is, they gave him 35 years. The incident happened when he was 17. They convicted him of murder, which was to be expected. And then they gave him 35 years to, quote unquote, make an example of him. This is the person you want to make an example of? The clean cut guy, the guy that's always in school, the guy who got us a 4.0 GPA, the guy who was a captain of the team, a guy who was a leader in his own right, a guy who sets examples for other students and his own brothers and sisters. This the guy you want to make an example of? Now, see, when the people say we're going to make an example out of somebody, which I understand has to be done from time to time, you make an example out of somebody who is basically no good to society. We're going to show these thugs that, you know, we got something for them. We're going to show it to these thugs. All right. Now, I saw a lot of interesting footage after this verdict came out that I knew was coming. Okay. The 35 years, I didn't think about what his sentence would be, but I'm going to say it didn't surprise me. Okay. It didn't surprise me at all. We're going to double the age of the boy that died. We're going to double the age of the young man that's being accused. We're going to make sure he spends 17 years in prison. Because what do they want to happen? They want him to be corrupted by the system. So when he gets out, he can't get out and be right. Because he had too much going on for him. And see, this is the thing, y'all. A lot of us will say, well, that's a good kid. He was doing all the right things. And you think that's the reason that white people will be looking to spare him. When I see kids doing this well, I see that as fantastic reason for white people to bury him. Do you really want a 17-year-old who has this type of potential going on with his life throughout the world without interruption because you can't slow him down right here? Is that what y'all think people really want? And see, this is the thing, y'all. Ignorant folk, as y'all may call them, racist folk, as y'all may call them, they get pretty loud. Okay, so you're going to see their rhetoric over the internet, but they all just people at the end of the day. They just people who let us know what's kind of going on around themselves, possibly their brothers and sisters, more than likely their mothers and fathers, the people of their community. They're just a signal into the white people world that they come from. Now, you could estimate for yourself how big you think that one potential person who's being racist online. You couldn't say for yourself how many people you think that one particular individual represents. But they keep showing up, and they so slow they just be loud about the racism because they think ain't nothing gonna happen to them because they hide behind the keys, as they say. All right, I get that. So that being the case, I already knew how this was gonna go. All right. Some of y'all may have figured it out when they announced an all-white jury. You know, the all-white jury thing didn't surprise me at all. America has moved in different ways to have all-white juries when they thought it was the right thing to do. This ain't like it's the first time they had an all-white jury. You know, what is probably one of the more famous all-white juries was around the people who killed Emmett Till. They wanted them white guys off, so what they do? They came up with all-white jury. This ain't no new play, you know. And there's some people who don't think this is like they think like this is something that's, you know, unusual. No, white folks been doing this. They've been doing this. Okay. And the thing is, if you can scare people enough, it don't make no difference what color they are on that jury. All right. Don't make no difference what color they are on that jury. And Americans in general have been convinced that jury duty is a thing you avoid because it's just something that's bothersome. And most people don't realize it's one of the, unless you literally go into politics, it might be the only way you can truly gain a mass influence over people because of a situation. You know? That's how things go. Shout out to you, Shark. That's all I'm gonna say. He said, "Come on now, Roger. I'm coming, brother. I'm definitely coming." Now, this is the thing, y'all. Karmelo had his trial. There's some people criticizing his lawyer. Okay. Could he have had a better lawyer? Sure, you can always have a better lawyer. Would the better lawyer get him a different verdict? Probably not. Okay, probably not. If I'm being realistic, probably not. I knew from day one that Karmelo was going down. Okay. I ain't saying I'm a psychic. Okay, I ain't claiming nothing like that, but I knew the man was going down day one, not day two, not day three. The day I heard the report about how he beat the white kid, because that's all that really mattered. A white kid started some problems with him. He won. He had to go down. They ain't gonna just let him walk away like from that. See, a lot of us, we don't realize once the story gets too big, you know, smaller story, maybe he get away with doing what he did. Okay, something that's kind of local, you know, it don't get out too much, maybe you get a different result. Story get too big, black guy got to go down. We're going to throw everything at him to make him go down. That's just how the game go. Once the story gets too big, the black guy has to go down. And they're going to do everything they can to make him go down. So, yes, this story was just too big, so I knew Karmelo was done. And I'm not saying that to be offensive to anybody. I'm just telling y'all, I know the America I live in. All right? I know it. And it's going to be what it is until it changes. And we just ain't there yet. We just not. So now, what should have happened? A lot of folks will argue that Karmelo is in this situation because, of course, he should have walked away. That's what people are going to say. He should have walked away. And I can understand a person agreeing with that. I can understand a person agreeing with that. I really can. Sometimes it's just about what you want to do as an individual and what you want to accomplish. Karmelo didn't see a reason for him to be punked. And that's all it was at the end of the day. They tried to punk him. He wasn't trying to be punked. That's simple. You know, you better not put your hands on me, to a person making sure that if it was the last thing he do, he was going to put his hands on him. See, that's somebody trying to punk somebody. Unfortunately for the dead guy, Karmelo wasn't punked. Now, dig this here, y'all. A lot of folks going to say, well, that's why he going to be in jail for 35 years. Okay, and that's the exact same reason Austin dead. You know? So people going to be funny about it without really thinking about it. The same way you going to say, well, that's why Karmelo going to be in jail for 35 years. Well, that nigga Austin dead. He ain't getting up. It's over with. They put him in the box, put the dirt on it. It is what it is. I'm going to say it again. Austin made me proud. All right? And if you want something to change, you got to do something different. Am I upset about a young black man who wasn't even technically a man yet, 17 at the time? Am I upset that he stood up to people trying to bully him? No, not for real. Okay. Did I want him to waste time being in prison? No, I understand that. I don't want him to waste time in prison. But if it was up to me, he wouldn't be in prison, of course, if it was up to me. But I do understand the country we lived in, so I pretty much knew his fate was sealed. Now, knowing that his fate was sealed, well, now everybody kind of knows it. People say, well, Roger, would you think differently now? Because now he done got 35. No. No, not at all. Okay, y'all, I've been in my own situations. You know, like I said, the only reason I'm here today, I had the right people praying for me because I done been put into a coma. Some people tried to kill me. You know, a time came in my life where I had to make a big move on, and this move was going to have a lot to do with whether I live or die. I still made my move. It is what it is. Now, I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying it's only the grace of God that I'm here. But when the time came, I made the move. It is what it is. Okay? So if you think I'm saying Karmelo did what he did and I'm just saying it because it don't affect me. No. That, you know, when my life had to come to certain terms, I made the move too. I almost died over it, but I made the move. So it is what it is. Okay, it is what it is. Shout out to Shark Sims. He said, yo, Roger, if I send a super chat, will you receive it? Real question. I will, brother. I will. But that ain't going to be till at least September. See, sometimes you get too real, you get too raw. And, you know, people think, hey, well, you know what? We're going to mess his money up. That'll stop him. I just laugh stuff like that off. Okay. We gonna mess his money up. That'll stop him. Okay. I'm just gonna laugh at you and keep on moving. But since you reminded me, Shark, I appreciate the joke. And since you done reminded me, now that I got this new device, and this is so I can receive folks cash apps. I gotta thank some folks for some cash apps y'all done sent me for the last couple of days that I wasn't able to really say on air. And I do apologize I wasn't able to say it on air. It took me getting another cash app to get that done. So let me thank the people, y'all. See, the super chat ain't slow some people down. Y'all rocking with me anyway, and I definitely appreciate that. The super chat didn't slow certain people down. Y'all rocking with me anyway. Okay. And I got to say thank you, y'all. I got to say thank you. Because, you know, I look up, I got $98 in oh no, my bad. It just went up to 103. 103 in Cash Apps, y'all. Okay, 103 in Cash Apps, and I appreciate y'all. And I'm gonna say thank you for your patience because I wasn't able to say it as y'all was sending it. Thank you for your patience. Okay, but I want to say shout out to my main man, No Placeholder, sent me 5. Okay, he sent me 5 on Monday. He said back in back in purgatory, my brother. He said with a question mark. Long live habitual eye salver. And I would say no placeholder at least to September. At the very least. Until September, my brother. But I appreciate it, though. I do appreciate it. Now, Trail Bentley said on Monday, which was also about Carmelo Anthony, he said doing the work and dropped $2.57. So he dropped the 57-cent Trail Bentley tax in the Cash App. Thank you very much for that, my brother. Thank you very much. Shout out to Afro Merchant, who dropped $10 on Monday with the 57-cent Trail Bentley tax. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate that big time. Appreciate that big time. I'm going to say shout out to Marcus. I'm not going to say the last name unless I know it's cool to say a last name. But shout out to Marcus. And this was from yesterday. He said Rick Child said he is the law. Well, he definitely said that. And he definitely moved in that direction. That's real talk. Hey, I appreciate you, my brother. Sorry I couldn't say it on air. Shout out to No Placeholder. He said day 2 in purgatory. He dropped 5 on it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But hey, I ain't scared, y'all. I ain't scared. It is what it is. I ain't scared. Shout out to my main man, Jado came through yesterday. Dropped $25 on it. Appreciate you, Jado. Shout out to you, my brother. Appreciate you, Jado. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You know, we rock heavy with Jado around these parts. We rock heavy with Jado. And shout out to Creator. Okay, he dropped something yesterday. Dropped 20 on it. Okay. He say, my mother effer. I'm just gonna say, well, I appreciate you, Creator. Thank you, brother. Thank you for all you do, all you chime in with. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for the drop on the money. Appreciate that, my brother. Appreciate it. And that's real talk. And shout out to Inspired Truth Broadcast, who's dropping something just as I'm speaking. He said, I got 5 on it. Appreciate you, my brother. Appreciate you, my brother. Thank you very much, y'all. So I had to get that taken care of. We got it taken care of. We got a new device. We in good shape now. We in good shape. And we just gonna be, hey, it's not like I don't want Cash Apps ever. But Cash App is the only option right now. But y'all know how I go. If you don't know, that's $ the Roger Report. $ the Roger Report is the Cash App. And I got 2 guests backstage, so I'm finna let these 2 guests come up and chime in what they like to chime in. And we're going to keep the party moving. But I'm going to say this, y'all. We got to be realistic. Who didn't know a year ago that this was going to be the outcome? Did you really not know? Or did you really think that Carmelo Anthony was going to be able to go through the court system, get a fair shake, and he was going to be all right? Even if you didn't think it would be murder, which is, asking for higher stuff, maybe some of y'all thought they go after manslaughter or something like that. Maybe that's what y'all thought. Me, I never thought that at all. I knew what it was going to be. Okay. I didn't think about how much time, but I'm going to say that 35 years did not surprise me in any kind of real way. I know the country I live in. That's all I'm saying. I know the country I live in. And shout out to Trail Bentley. He said Cash App accepts the Trail Bentley tax as well. Shout out to you, Trail Bentley. And that is true, y'all. That is true. That 57 cent could be the difference. Okay. You never know. That 57 cent could make the difference. Okay. I don't know what it would make the difference in, at the moment, but it could make the difference. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But Champ, I definitely finna give you the flow. You came up if you was the first one up, brother. So obviously this speaks to your heart because you was back there early. So I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you. What you got for us this morning?
Well, Roger, I'm gonna make it 2 minutes. I knew this was going to become the outcome once the jury pool was shown. Once the jury pool was presented to him last week, I basically said that they're gonna find him guilty for defending himself And basically, what this mean? First of all, what they did was this was a lynching. This reminds me of this one black kid back in the late 40s. He was accused of a crime of a white woman, of a white teenage girl, and it's called. His name was George Stymie. Um, he was convicted of a crime that he didn't do, sentenced to death, and they, I think, put him to death. I think for the next 30 or 40 days after that. And basically, what this was that this was a kangaroo court case that they did on him and everything else. No black jurors, as expected, and now Carmelo Anthony is paying a price because he defended himself against two guys, two white guys with a combined weight of over 400 pounds. Basically, what they're saying is, Negro, you can't defend yourself. You need to take a severe ass whooping. Hopefully, he survives and everything else. If he doesn't, then those two white guys could have easily used stand your ground, and they probably would have gotten a lighter sentence, or even got or acquitted and everything else. So it doesn't surprise me, but I'm just going to say this, family: if in the next week or so, when we get ready to celebrate Juneteenth, you're going to have these white incels, people who subscribe to 4chan, that white supremacist stuff and everything else. They're going to try to provoke us. They're going to try to start something. No matter what happens, stay alert. You got to have your cell phone and post it and everything else. If you have a weapon, like a firearm, and you're being threatened, use it against some of these white supremacists and everything else. So I just hope there's some brothers, religious brothers in that prison cell helping this brother, counseling him and everything else, Carmelo Anthony. But I just wish I just want to go down to Texas, man, just give that brother a hug. And I just wish I could trade his spot and everything else. I'll serve the sentence for that brother. So I'm gonna land my plane, Roger.
Man, appreciate that, brother. That's touching too. That's touching. Real talk. Appreciate that. All right. We got another guest. We're gonna give it to Good Kid, Wrong Heart. You have the floor, my brother. You have the floor.
Happy Wednesday, everybody.
Happy Wednesday, brother.
All right. Keep your heads up, man. You already know that these Muzungus, these heifers can't take no L. You win on the field, and they trying to win in the court. That's what happens when you're a black man operating based on the laws of the white people, and you're hoping that their constitution will grant you some sort of right or human dignity and things like that. They can pick and choose when and which rights you should have, because they claim that somebody has the right to defend their lives and property, but that's if they deem you to be worthy of that. In case they don't like you, they don't like what you did, or they don't like who you did it to, well, all of a sudden it changes. Now you're gonna ask yourself, can I defend myself? Or do I have to, just let them beat me within an inch of my life? Things like that. It sets a bad precedent. That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, even though none of this stuff is surprising to me, and y'all may have even seen it, because I changed the title because I made a statement that almost became the title of the stream that I definitely agree with. The verdict justifies the killing. I'm gonna say that to y'all again. The verdict justifies the killing. Now, some of y'all might think when you hear this, He must be saying that backwards. He must mean the killing justifies verdict. No. I understand he was gonna get a problem no matter what. And because he got the problem he got and he defended himself and he handled his business. Now I'm gonna say he did get lucky to get a person that close to the heart and make them die right away. Yeah, he kind of got lucky on that one. But hey, it is what it is. But I'm gonna say no, the killing was justified because of that verdict. See, they did what they can to bury this dude, which I knew they were going to do. All right. And I understand people can say, well, you know, these are people's lives at stake. What? Karmelo's life was at stake. They reported that everybody who took the stand, all those people was Austin's friends. So what does that tell me? These are all people who's going to potentially jump him when he get jumped. Let's keep it real. Why didn't Austin get jumped? Excuse me, not Austin, but why didn't Karmelo get jumped? Because he took Austin out. That's why he didn't get jumped. See, people can hide behind a lot of stuff. If you've ever been in a fighting situation, which I have, okay, and there's something that I believe they call it mob rule. People who really wouldn't even do nothing would do it just because the mob is doing it. You know, you might be a person that really wouldn't steal, well, because it's a riot and you happen to find yourself at this riot, well, you might take a TV too. Normally, you wouldn't take squat, but you might take a TV too because it's a riot going on right now. So let me just go and take something. Maybe you wouldn't normally take anything, but you take a phone. Why? Because it's a riot going on right now. People do this type of stuff, and it even includes when people are getting hurt. So, what is realistic gonna happen if Karmelo don't do what he did? Realistically, Austin's gonna attempt to beat the brakes off him. His brother's gonna help him because what brother is not gonna help their brother beat the brakes off of him? The friends are gonna throw their licks in too. Now, people can say, "Oh, you don't know them friends was gonna do nothing." Everybody who came to court on Austin's behalf to help him in death. If they was going to help him in death, you can't convince me they weren't going to help him in life. So at the end of the day, everybody who testified when it comes to these kids were just more potential people to jump on Karmelo. Every single one of them. These are the people who would have stole on Karmelo, as we used to say back in the day. These are the people who would have stomped on Karmelo. These are the people who would have kicked him in the head. And Karmelo more than likely wouldn't have made it out with his life. It doesn't take that many people to kill a person. You know? And of course, the white folks acted like you need 100 people to kill a guy. No, you don't. You know, it take one. If you want to be real.
Hey,
now,
Rod,
you start adding 2, 3, 4, and 5. If 5 people attempt to kill you, you're probably gonna die. That's what's real.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Roger, when I read the testimony, some of these so-called friends of his basically just turned on him. I mean, to the tit and everything else, but it seems like they were setting him up to get his either a beat down, or if he cuts up or ends up getting lucky, as he says, by stabbing somebody. You know, they were going to testify against him and turn on him and everything else. So it sounds like to me that this guy was being set up.
Well, I'm gonna have to disagree with you. You can't turn on a person when you wasn't a friend in the first place. Now, the people who was allowed to be in the courtroom have reported that every kid who testified, whether that kid is now an adult or not, if they was a student at the situation, they reported every single one of them was Austin's friends. So you can't turn on Karmelo when you Austin friend.
But wasn't one of Karmelo's so-called friends invited him and everything else?
The guy who was supposedly friend didn't claim him.
Yeah.
So every one of them, as far as what we can tell, was Austin's friend. So it just is what it is. See, a lot of times we want to believe we got friends, but ain't no friend there. Now, if y'all had some good parents, some of y'all parents done told y'all about that. Some of these people you hang around, they ain't your friend. Okay. So obviously, the guy you talking about in question is Eddie. Eddie showed y'all who friend he is. He was Austin's friend. Okay. Now maybe he knew Karmelo, but when it was time to be a friend, he chose Austin. It is what it is. I am not saying they weren't friends earlier. I ain't saying they wasn't friends previously. And like I said the other day, their main connection was Carmelo's ex-girlfriend. So he might have been a hating nigga the whole time. I ain't gonna say that's what happened, but I do understand what the connection was. The connection was he used to hang out with a female that was Carmelo's girlfriend. Now, I just find that interesting, especially when you're young. I had female friends because we went to school together too, but I really didn't hang out at my female friends' houses. I wasn't going to their family birthdays and all that. I consider them friends. Okay. I do consider them friends. Okay. Because we met and everything was cool. You know what I'm saying? We was in a different type of situation. We went to the same place at the same time. Now, how strong the friendship has lasted over years, that's been because of what individual actions. But I consider all those females that I was quote unquote in school with, I consider them friends. But I wasn't kicking it at their crib like that. Okay, when I was at somebody's crib, I was trying to make something happen. It is what it is. Now, Eddie, for whatever reason, he wants to be around Carmelo's girlfriend. So I can totally understand why Eddie say, yeah, we kind of knew each other, but did Eddie see him as a friend? Obviously not, based on his actions. He is what it is on that one.
So Eddie
Okay,
was in the friend zone.
you can call it what you want, but did you have some people around you when you was growing up? Did you have a female friend that was always hanging around some dude, even going to places with him and going to parties and family events and things like? Did y'all know those people doing that? Because I didn't know those people doing that. Okay, our female friendship I ain't saying they wasn't friends, but it was limited. That's all I'm saying. It was limited. When I was at your house, either I was trying to get some or one of my buddies was trying to get some. It is what it is. Okay. So that how strong is that friendship is all I'm saying. Okay. But Shark has come up, so I'm gonna go ahead. Well, Pookie Raw has come up. So I'm gonna go ahead and give him the mic, let him get his 2 minutes in. Pookie Raw, you got it, my brother.
Peace, fellas. How y'all doing today? How y'all doing?
Hey, doing all right, brother.
For the record, I wasn't even trying to make jokes on the super chat thing. I was trying to super chat, and I'm like, yo, where the hell is the button? Then I forgot that you had told us the whole joint, so I was like, what the hell is going on? So apologies if you thought I was cracking jokes on you. My bad.
Nah, I mean it fit as a joke, so it was all good. But I appreciate the thought though. I appreciate the thought. So yeah, anybody who wants to give a super chat, y'all gonna have to migrate over to the Cash App if you want to do that. And then everybody may not have Cash App, so hey, I understand. At the end of the day, I'm still gonna give you the best show on social media, regardless. But go ahead, brother.
All right. Definitely, I feel very bad for the young brother because 35 years is a long time. But hopefully he'll make it through there. He probably get out on good behavior or something like that, or probation or something. I don't feel bad for his parents. They raised a whole bunch of money and didn't get an attorney for that young man. And I think we need to start rephrasing the terminology. If you know kids with a two-parent, kids with their father in the home are better off than the other ones. Nah, kids with a smart father in their home are better off. His father wilded out and dropped the ball. All that money should have been to the best legal team they could have. At least try to give the boy a chance, even if it's an imaginary chance. At least try to give the boy a chance. But that just irked me wrong. But I was telling my little homies, I was like, this is a case of when keeping it real goes wrong. I don't think Carmelo would have had that same vigor if he didn't have that knife on him. I think he might have got up and moved away if he had that knife on him. And I think that's something that us as grown men, we gotta start putting this through these young boys' heads. Yo, man, use your hands. If somebody ain't got a weapon on you, you don't even need to pull your gun out. You know what I mean? He don't got a gun. Give your man your gun and y'all fight it out. If he got a knife, then yeah, you pull your knife out. He got a gun, or you think he got a gun, you pull your gun out and you do what you gotta do. But at the end of the day, just throw some hands, man. There's nothing wrong with we say soft people is the ones who pull out a weapon on a person without no weapon. And this is what we getting right now. These young kids is just killing each other, and they don't even need to be killing each other. They could just be fighting. And now we got a cracker dead, and we got a young black man who seemed like he had potential to do a lot of things in life, whose life has been taken from him. You know, my uncle always told me, if you're gonna go out there to wild out, make sure you dig 2 graves, because you're gonna die just as much as that other person. And I'll close my statement right there.
Well, I'm gonna say that's a heck of a statement. Shout out to your uncle. Now, of course, I'm a person that. Well, go ahead, champ. Go ahead.
Yeah, that was a very good. That was very good. Well said, right there. That's a very good point and everything else, because it is really hard to want to do that, because if you're 5'9" and you got 2 6-foot combined 400-pound guys getting ready to stomp on you, maybe more. I mean, what options does he have? Because he might not make it out alive after that.
Hey, you never know. I've seen some of the smallest guys knock out some of the biggest guys. Literally.
True, that is very true.
I've seen a nigga with heart do a lot to a couple of people, 3-on-1. I've seen guys walk out of there. So it's all about where your heart at. Niggas with no heart walk around with weapons that attract me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it wasn't a weapon. That's the thing. It was just a tool.
A knife is a weapon. It wasn't a screwdriver.
Everything can be a weapon, but he didn't have it there for weapon purposes. People at track meets carry knives. They dig stuff out of stuff. They cut stuff, whatever the case is. He was a captain of a team. I can accept the man had a knife with him. Do I believe with his background he was going to use that knife for anything notorious? Not at all. Austin made it become a weapon.
Okay, all right, okay.
I mean, the background.
The nigga wasn't fishing.
Exactly.
So what did you need a knife for? He wasn't like Craig and Friday cutting up boxes. So you know what I mean?
But he wasn't fishing for trouble. I'm gonna say this: he wasn't fishing for trouble either.
Well, when you tell a nigga if you invite a nigga to the battle by saying, "Well, do something," and you're gonna see what happened, you are looking for nigga going stall on you if you say that one.
No, I mean, it depends on what the situation is. Because I done told people that myself as a warning to them. I try to let everybody walk away. So I've said that to people as a warning to let you know, bro, this ain't finna be sweet. I don't care what you think it is. You're gonna have somebody on your head on this one. That's me giving you a chance to walk away. Now, if you don't take that as a chance to walk away, that's on you. I told you what it was. I done gave you your warning.
Well, at the end of the day, ain't neither one of them walking away from this event, and that's the tragedy of it.
I mean, I'm gonna say the tragedy is Karmelo ain't walking away. Unfortunately, Austin started a fight he couldn't win, and that's all it really is to it. Is it tragic to start a fight and die? Anytime you in a fight, you have to recognize you could die. We don't like to say stuff like that, and I'm saying as a society, we don't like to say stuff like that, but that's the reality of it. Once you enter into a fight, the chances you do have a chance. Now, what kind of fight it is will determine how big the chance is, but there's a percentage you ain't gonna walk out of that.
And that's real talk, because you never know how a fight it turns. I think the other day we were saying, like, you could have a fight and you could be kicking somebody behind, slip and fall and hit your head, and now that's the end of you. You know what I mean? You never know how a fight is going to end. So definitely avoid a fight at all costs. I'll agree with you.
And I have been in fights. I have never wanted to be in a fight. I ain't never looked to start no fight. Because I understand I may not come out of it. And it could be for any random reason. And it could be the guy who wasn't even in the fight, who just got in the fight and they just came through. Somebody saw something, then they jumped out their car. Now you did. Because you might have been fighting a friend. And ain't nobody finna check with you or why you fighting a friend. That's the reality of the situation. But that's also why I say I'm good with what Karmelo did. If Karmelo surmises that he may have to do something, I'm gonna tell y'all what I was told. They said if you think it's really about to go down, get the first lick. Because the first lick might determine the whole fight. So if you really think it's going up, don't wait for somebody to send it up on you, send it up on them. It's better to be able to walk away and say you're sorry. So I ain't even tripping about what Karmelo did. My thing is, Austin was there. He had his brother there. He had a bunch of friends there. A lot of folks who, well, according to what they reported, all the people who testified when it comes to the quote unquote kids of the situation were all Austin's friends. I don't see how Karmelo walked out of there. Now y'all may think he don't die, but these are kids. Kids don't know how to pull punches like that. Some grown-ups may let you live. And a lot of grown-ups won't even necessarily do it. You know, they know they can pull their punches and they still won't do it. Kids even knowing how to pull their punches is a whole different situation. You know, shout out to Black Uru Strikes. I see him in the chat. Shout out to the elder. He says, even several men bigger than you approach you in anger. Don't you have the right to fear for your life and respond to stay alive? Black Uru, I agree with that wholeheartedly. My thing is, if I believe I'm in trouble, I can do anything I believe is necessary to get out of that trouble.
That's right. I agree with Black Guru right there. You know, because like I said, you know, as he, you know, it was even the testimony was there that he had two big white dudes that were getting ready to, that were pushing him around, you know, taking his bag and everything, telling him to get out of the bleachers. Like they act like it was 1955 and everything else.
Champ, he had a $2 lawyer.
Yeah, he had a $2 lawyer and everything. You know, there was this prominent lawyer by the name of Rusty Hardin. He defended Deshaun Watson and a lot of prominent black athletes out in Texas. I wonder why they didn't use that money to get a better defense attorney like Rusty Hardin.
Well, I might be called a coon for this, but they went and bought a new Cadillac and they bought a new crib.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I did hear they bought a new crib, but based on other stuff I heard, it was kind of necessary. You know,
the necessity is making sure your son get off of this damn 25 life.
I do believe that is necessary, but
that's
sometimes
what you raised them. That's why we just giving them the money, not for them to get no new house and move. We was giving them that money for this boy's legal team.
No.
Now we sitting here sad because they ain't do that shit.
Now, what this is the thing. If he did, there is no point in having money for the legal team. And the thing is, folks don't want to deal with it, but that's a reality. Ever since this case went down and made public news, this boy life been in trouble. And when he became a man, he was just in more trouble. If he's not alive, there's nothing to defend. So I'm gonna say whatever they did with the money, they did the best they could with their thought level and their, you know what I'm saying? We all can see something different 2020. That's all I'm gonna say on that. We all can see it differently 2020. But in reality, if he don't keep the boy alive, he don't need no defense money. You know. Now, I'm also gonna say, well, let me read this by Black Who Strikes. He says, in a fight, you can get choked out by accident or fall and hit your head against a hard surface and you're dead. And I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. And I'm also say, because I'm from Chicago, y'all, you can be fighting somebody and they friends see you fighting them, and then they get out their car and blow your brains out. You do not know if you're going to make it out of a fight. That's why if you get into a fight, you want to get out of it quickly. Okay? Or you may be in a situation where, as myself, when I've had to fight people, I've never tried to just kill them. But people have tried to kill me. I can't depend on you to even let me live if you win. See, some people can just take an L. Some people can take a victory. If I let you win, you might kill me. And I have to take that into consideration. So again, I can't trip about whatever Karmelo saw to save himself. I think he made the right decision. Period. Because he the one breathing. And everybody who's gonna say, well, that's why you gotta spend 35 years in jail. Well, he got 35 years to live, so he won. Now we can put whatever spin we want on it. Karmelo won. And I believe this court case showed just how upset people are because he won. You start a fight and you die, that's on you. I can't sit here and have sympathy for a boy who started a fight and died. What good is that gonna do? He dead. It's cool with me. I'm not saying I want the boy to die, but I'm 100% okay with it because he started. You know, somebody else might have died. No, I'm glad it was him. If somebody got to die, I'm glad it was him because he started it.
I think what Reset said the other day, I hate to say he was correct, but this is just kids making the wrong decisions. Because me as an adult, when I'm getting into some crazy stuff, I always think about all the repercussions that could happen. All right, we scrap, I beat son, they gonna come back with some guns. Now they shooting, or I'm shooting back. Hit them, now they crew coming around for my crew, etc. Like it could be a long drawn, like the Hatfield and McCoy type of thing, you know what I mean? Drawn out over years and years and years of just going back and forth. But kids, they don't have that capacity to think like grown men. So it was just kids messing up, kids just making mistakes. I wouldn't even say messing up, just making mistakes.
Yeah, well, you know, they living on limited information. See, the good thing about being old is that you get to learn from your own experiences, plus you hear about other people's experiences, and you get to measure things off a bunch of that stuff.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I'm saying? They got their limited 17-year-old experience at the time. So for me, it's like a 17-year-old Austin tried to mess with another 17-year-old Karmelo, and Austin died over it. You know, I'm you know what I'm saying? I know the political correct thing to do is to say, hey, that's a tragedy. But is it? Is it? Because I'm not saying everything is true that people are saying about Austin, but you know, he was a good student, but he got a terrible reputation out there too. He got two different terrible reputations. Okay. That's what then came up. I ain't saying I won't necessarily believe him, but he got two different terrible reputations out there. And since he started the fight, well, maybe his death teach other people to leave folks alone. And I can be okay with that. See, I don't have to take it as a try. I'm going to look for the good in it. His death could get other people to not be too quick to start with people that ain't bothering them. Because that was clear. Austin got up to bother him. That's a very clear thing that the court case brought out. Austin got up to bother him.
Old boy heard stories about his granddad, his redneck granddad, when he was pushing Negroes around, saying niggas to move out of the way. He wanted to feel that power also. He went to do it on his lifetime. That's what it is.
That's possible. That is possible. I'm not going to stamp him with what people are saying about him. I'm just going to say I've heard two different very bad reputations about the boy. But people say all kinds of stuff on the internet. Okay, people, y'all got to take that in consideration too. But since he started the fight, I mean, it is what it is. You started. Okay. Now shout out to Spacegate, who has a theory here because I've read it already. He said, for all you geniuses out there, Anthony was backdoored, trapped by his quote unquote friend to come out there. This was pre-planned to do this to him. He didn't have any friends. He had enemies. Now I'm gonna say that's a good theory. Based on what situation happened, that's a theory that people could see. Okay. Mm-hmm. And the only reason I'm saying it's a theory because it's not confirmed information. But if you look at what happened, you can quote unquote kind of see how that could have played out. Because again, y'all, the quote unquote friend Eddie didn't move like no friend. And a lot of people got to remember that you can be a friend to a person, but that does not mean they're a friend to you.
But
Yep.
who said Eddie was his friend?
Well, the thing is, Eddie said he wasn't his friend, and the lawyer started showing all types of evidence of them associating with each other. But the
Associating with each other
connection,
don't mean friends.
no, I hear that. I hear that. My thing is the connection they had was Eddie was friends with a girl that was Carmelo's girl.
That still don't mean they friends.
I'm not arguing that they friends. I'm just saying, what I'm saying leads to reason why they definitely could have never been friends because they don't even know each other if it wasn't for Carmelo's girlfriend.
Yeah, that's 7 degrees of separation type of shit. We don't know each other. We know somebody that know both of us. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, they had pictures. They had obviously a friendly relationship with each other. But my thinking is the only reason Eddie is there because he want Carmelo girl. That's the only reason he there. I got to figure out how to get Carmelo out the way so I can get his girl. And then there's people who say, well, Eddie had a girlfriend too. What that mean? As many times people be talking about cheating on folks and all kind of stuff, you gonna tell me that's supposed to mean something? Man, what I know is I wasn't going over no girl when I was in high school. I can't remember going to one girl's house who I wouldn't have put the pipe on.
No, I can. I had homegirls and shit like that. I had homegirls.
Nah, hey, cool for you, but I'm gonna be realistic, bro. I ain't never go to their house.
I had a couple of homegirls that get some good ass weed, and I'll be over there smoking that weed up with it, and I'll go mess with my other bitches and shit like that. But no, I did have some homegirls that I was socialized with.
Well,
You know
I wasn't no
They
weed
always
smoker,
do their
so
homework.
I wasn't no weed smoker. So when I was over there, it's either somebody I'm with trying to hit or I'm trying to hit. And that's just being real. Okay. Now shout out to Black Rule Strikes. He said I saw a photo of Austin's father, the judge, and prosecutor smiling together, which is probably why Austin and Hunter could be bullies. They are all friends. This was a done deal from the start. Now I'm gonna say I did see the picture myself. I do accept possibly AI, but could very much be a very real photo. I mean, especially when you deal with smaller towns. This ain't like Chicago. And based on the moves I seen, to me, I already knew the fix was in. Plus, now that the situation is over, I'm admitting on the air, I already knew the dude was going down when we first heard about it. I knew he was going down then. For me, this was just to see how he goes down. It was not if he's going down. It's he's going down, and we're going to see how he goes down. Because I know the America I live in. But I'm going to give it to TGP, who's been here before. Been a while ago, but welcome back, brother. Welcome back. What you got for us?
Good morning, brothers.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You've been here before, right?
Yes, sir, Roger. This is a great particular.
Okay. Go right ahead.
Two American young men were lost. Two American young men were lost. And with that, one lost his life, and the other one, he'll be scarred for life. He'll never be the same. One thing that keeps coming to mind is that they were both young and dumb, and all of us have been young and dumb once. With that being said, we have to give them the opportunity to set aside, which was right before they haven't set aside. And also, I would love to hear from the parents. What are we teaching our kids? What kind of upbringing that these children have? What really confuses me the most is I stay 45 minutes from Cali, and if you go anywhere here in DFW, you might see a sign that says "Don't tread on me." It appears on bumper stickers, clothing, flags, and political protests. It's interesting because the meaning of that means resistance to tyranny, individual liberty, vigilance, and warning against oppression. Um, the With that being said, it was started in 1775 during the early days of American Revolution. used by the Continental Navy and Marines. It embodied the colonial defiance against British rule, meaning don't mess with us. And I just feel like it's ironic that that symbol is a rattlesnake. And what a rattlesnake does when you get too close, he rattles, he warns you. You're too close, don't mess with me. With that being said, I think it was very peculiar that, Carmelo said, hey, if you touch me, see what's going to happen to you. Don't mess with me. I end right there.
Appreciate you. We got one more guest that came up, so we're gonna let him get off too. Nigga laws. These names y'all be coming up with sometimes. But nigga laws, you got the flow, brother. You got the flow.
Hey man, I want y'all to understand what's happening here. Nigga, these are nigga laws. See, when Chow was facing uh, the prosecution, they didn't offer up anything extra. They didn't broaden what he could be, what he could be found guilty of, to give him the best opportunity to get away with what happened. With Carmelo Anthony, even though he was found guilty of murder, the judge, after the fact, said, hey, you can find him guilty of manslaughter because I don't think you met your burden of proof. Just in case. These are what you call nigger laws. One person has the right to defend themselves, defend their property, defend their family. The other person doesn't. I wonder what the difference is. These are nigger laws. This is what you need to be teaching your children. There's nigger laws out there waiting on you. You have to do the best you can to live your life in perfection, to live your life to be blameless, to not give the enemy any ammunition to use any of these nigger laws against you. Is it fair? Nah. But if you're looking for fairness, you better wait till Jesus come back. I'm gonna land my plane there.
All right, well
Yes,
said, brother.
yeah,
Well said.
yeah.
Well,
I've heard of that
That's the
term. The
best statement he ever made.
Yeah, I've heard of that term, nigger laws. My granddad told me about such things about that, especially here in Missouri. Yeah, it is very true about that. They got the U.S. constitutional laws, and then you got nigger laws, and the nigger laws applies to us especially, and everything else.
and knowing that that's the country I live in, that's why I can't second guess Carmelo. Carmelo knew what time it was, and he got the only justice he was gonna get right there. Okay, he got his justice. You know, and I know that sound bad for people, but you got to be real about stuff, y'all. We got to be real about stuff. That's was the closest he gonna get to justice. And as I even prepared for Monday, I kind of seen how the whole town just about was basically against him. I knew this guy wasn't gonna make it, but again, I figured that out when we first did the first show about it about a year ago. I already knew he wasn't gonna make it then. I just wouldn't speak against him to say for 100% for sure he wasn't gonna make it because words can have power, and I didn't want to do that to the brother. But I knew he wasn't gonna make it. And honestly, when I think about the 35 years they gave him, all things considered, I'm a little surprised they only gave him 35 years. Truth be told. But we got Jado here, and we got Mr. X backstage. I'm gonna bring up in a moment. Mr. X, I gotta hold off till Jado gets done, but then I'm gonna bring you up right after so you can get your statement. Oh no! Wait a minute! I just realized who Mr. X is. My bad, Mr. X. You got the flow right now. My apologies, brother. My apologies. No disrespect intended. No disrespect intended. You got the flow right now.
Well, hello, Rogers. It's been a few minutes. I've been gone for a little bit. I've been listening and watching and listening to the videos and stuff, and you guys have been doing a good job, not only with this incident and the trial and everything else, but other stuff and subjects that you've been talking about as well. The last thing you did about the fathers was actually pretty good. But at any rate, as it relates to this topic, So we knew the fix was going to be in from the beginning, and they told us by basis of the jury, right, with this Carmelo incident, with Carmelo Anthony incident. When you have an all right jury, just so you guys know, I looked up a study, Duke University. If a black defendant is facing an all white jury, there's an 81% conviction rate. That's the average. Whereas that same all white jury with a white defendant, 66% conviction rate. So there is a difference. That's a pretty good disparity right there. So that's the issue. There was a conflict of interest. It turns out that Jeff Metcalf, the father of the deceased, happens to know not only the judge, but the DA. They actually have verified photos of him hanging out with them a couple of years ago. So they've been knowing each other for a while. So there's a conflict of interest there. So with the jury, you got witnesses lying on the stand. Yeah, if you guys followed the trial, you'll see that the guy who invited him over to the tent, Carmelo Anthony over to the tent, he denied actually knowing Carmelo Anthony. And he had to be corrected on the stand. But even with all of that, that wasn't helpful. And then on top of that, they talked about the size and weight differential, but again, seems like they didn't care about that. And then on top of that, there were some issues as it relates to a few other things. It looked like to me that they were just trying to rush through this trial. I don't know about you guys, but I've never seen a murder trial get finished in 7 days. I've never seen it. All right, it's never happened. Now, and I'll just say in the modern era, post 1960s, when we were supposed to have things that are more fair, I've just never seen one get done in 7 days. They were just trying to rush through this, and a lot of stuff was missing. And then the other thing too is that attorney on Carmelo Anthony's defense. I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't have a law degree, but I absolutely could have done a better job. All right, just based off common sense, logic, and all the holes that were in the story as it relates to the testimony, the witnesses, and a few other things. I could have done a better job without a law degree. So all I'm saying is that the fix was in from the beginning. We should have known that this was going to come out similar to the actual verdict. We didn't want it to come out this way, but the other part of it too is that I have no surprises about it. Now, the last thing I'll say is this: there seems to be this effort to condition black people to just basically accept abuse from the white population. I got to make this racial because that's where this thing actually started. It has been racialized and politicized. But basically, what we now have is a situation where white people have been deferred deputy status. They can walk up to a black man or any black person who's sitting down at a table, reading a book, peacefully enjoying his day, sipping his tea, and say, move. And you just got to shut up and move. Because that's what those two bullies did. They walked up to Carmelo Anthony, told him to move. He refused. And then when they pushed and pulled and did all this other stuff and attacked him, he defended himself. We can argue about, the proportionality and whether or not he feared for his life. We can have a discussion about that. But as far as what they did wrong, they're the ones who escalated the situation. They started it, they escalated it, and they attacked. And what America is trying to convince black people to do is not to defend themselves when a white person attacks them. And I'm telling you right now, we're not going to allow that. I said a lot, so I'll go ahead and land right there and let somebody else speak. Thanks for letting me up, Roger.
That's well said right there.
Appreciate you.
That's well said what Mr. X just said right there, because basically they want us to be conditioned to go back to the 1950s and everything else, telling us to move. If we're just sitting up there reading the book, as he said, at a table outside a picnic, they're going to tell us to move and all that type of stuff, or else I'm going to call the police and all that type of crap. See, they want to turn back the clock to those days and everything else. And we're not having it anymore. We're just not having it anymore. We're just fed up of, telling us, where to move, where we can go, where we can't go, and everything. But basically what they want is they just want to bring back Jim Crow. They want to bring back Jim Crow laws.
Now I'm going to say, shout out to you, Jado. I apologize for the delay, but I'm going to blame it on Champ because I was about to let you in, but Champ started going off, and now here come Trump's America. So, these two brothers, Mr. X, Trump's America, they got the privilege, so I had to give it to them. So Champ screwed you up right there. I don't think Champ did it on purpose.
No, not at all.
No. It's let the blade master go, man. You got the money, man.
So great. You're so gracious, brother. Thank you, man.
More than I respect the president of the United States, The Blade Master Pimps. You got
All right, Zeno, you got it, brother.
Thank you, man. I don't know if you're gonna like what I'm gonna say here, brother. But
Nah, do
thanks
you
for being
know
gracious, man. No, not you, right? I'm talking about the real Blade Master, man. Hey, salute, fellas. I hope you're doing well. Everybody in the chat, replay gang as well. Um, hey, whenever I see incidents like this, man, I always leave room when I formulate my opinion or judgment on the situation. I always leave room for maybe I'm wrong. But man, black people, I know we're looking, we're yearning for something to galvanize us so we can do what we're supposed to do. We're yearning, we're waiting. Oh man, we gonna get it together now, man. Yeah, these folks they bring it back to Jim Crow, man, slavery, all that stuff, man. Hey, those days are over, man. Those days are over. So, am I saying white people don't do what white people do? Absolutely not. I'm not naive. I'm not dumb. But I'm just saying, look, I know my people, man. We like to embellish, man. We get animated. We start talking stuff, and it starts getting a little further and further and further from the actual truth, man. Because we want to get behind a cause and we want to galvanize and get something done when we don't need nothing to galvanize us. We can just do it now. So I'm just saying when we discuss this stuff, man, like I think they brought 21 witnesses in for the prosecution, man. And I don't know, maybe they coached all of those young people and those witnesses and stuff. Maybe they coached them and coerced them to say, this is what you're going to say. Maybe it's possible. But that's not what happens, fellas. Maybe this isn't the cause that's where we're supposed to be getting behind, man. Maybe we're being manipulated. I'm just saying, man. I don't like. I know you. I know we want this, man. I know. We gonna fight the power. But then we start embellishing, making up narratives, getting further and further from the truth to do that. We don't need to do that.
is this dude 2 minutes up?
Yeah, that's up. Yeah, I know y'all don't want me to talk no more. Go ahead, do y'all thing, man.
Yeah, you told too much truth, Jada. You told too much truth.
Uh, uh, no, we got another guy who got in. That's all. Jado can tell all the truth he want to. Okay. Shout out to Trump's America. It's on you, my brother. It's on you.
Okay, shout out to you, Roger, and gentlemen on the panel. Special shout out to Mr. X. Miss you on the panels, brother. Miss antagonizing you from time to time. Come back. So yeah, we can chop it up. And shout out to the panel. Um, another one for the history books, eh? Another brother, academic scholar, going to get 35 years. And I don't know why we're sitting around being surprised. This is Trump's America. Since America's inception, there's been rules. Niggas at the bottom, crackers at the top. And it has never changed. But today, I want to challenge y'all niggas to something else. Are we going to sit around and analyze something that has already happened that we can't fix? Or are we going to be true leaders and move forward and try to figure out what can we do so this can be mitigated in the future? Because I, like everybody else, love barbershop talk. We love that. How, crackers be serial killers and how they treat our brothers bad and how sisters ain't doing right and how Michael Jordan is a cross-dresser. I love all these topics. But at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, are we going to have another barbershop talk? Are we going to start doing things that's going to make a difference? Because everybody's going to analyze this. But I challenge y'all. What can we do? What can we talk about to move forward? Because this nigga's cooked, right? He's cooked. So how do we move forward? And I'll leave it there. Shout out to all the niggas still eating white coochie, and I'm passing that.
Trump's America. Was that retaurical? That question rhetorical?
That was definitely not
That,
rhetorical.
that nigga's dead
That
serious.
definitely was
What are
not
you talking
rhetorical.
about, Jado?
No, I'm
But
Jado,
serious.
wait a
because
minute, Jado.
like
You
a good
acting?
lo-
Why you
but like
acting like
a
this the first time you heard this nigga? Why you acting like that?
hey,
And
hey,
anyway, I just want
like
to say
a
shout out to all the niggas eating white coochie in 2026.
hey, but I'm saying
Oh man.
they say what? Don't they say lawyers they ask questions that they ask good questions they
No,
already
no,
know the answer to,
bro.
right?
I said, bro, I started and I said, I challenge y'all to move
Yeah.
away from the barbershop talk of Jordan being a cross dresser and this LeBron, control card is gold.
Well, let me stick my foot in this a little bit. I'm gonna say, look, man, Carmelo already started it. Unfortunately, people ain't figured out what it is. Carmelo was in a situation where he had to do too much thinking. So rather than just be a victim, he just took the white guy out. That's the beginning. If you need a beginning, that's a great beginning. Making white people think there's gonna be an actual cost to bothering me sounds great to me. Now I'm not gonna say I want people to die, but it is what it is sometimes. Sometimes people gotta die for something to happen. And if white people start bothering black folks and black folks start acting like Carmelo, I understand people gonna say, well, see now the black person in the position to suffer. Man, it is what it is. You're gonna suffer one way or another. Which one you choosing to suffer with? Because like I said, when you know, sometimes there's fights that you just can't, you're not in the position to win. You'll never be in that position if you don't do anything different.
Hey Roger, man, bro. I get what you're saying, man. But how often, how
I know.
regular
I know.
are black
Explain it to
people
me.
being how often are black people being accosted by these big burly, white people, man, physically? Oh, yeah, we gonna, well, some people say they were already whooping his ass, right? But I don't know. You got a whole bunch of different stories here. But I'm saying, how often is this physical confrontation happening, man? It's not happening on that level, man. It's way above that. I mean, does it happen? Yes. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, fellas. I'm just saying it's just not that often, man.
Well, I'm gonna say violence for the most part is always gonna be intraracial. It's gonna be the same color people doing something with the same color people. Because in America, you hang out with your own kind for the most part. When it starts going into a different community, it will get the spotlight because that's an abnormal thing. And that's what, what I'm saying, people got to accept that's an abnormal thing. So I should never really have to fight a white guy. It shouldn't really even come up. Okay?
So,
But if it come up and I take this
well,
guy out,
do you believe Austin was
I
picking
do
on
want to say this.
Carmelo because he's black?
I
no.
want to. I
No,
want to
not
say
because
this.
no, he was doing it because he was bigger and he was trying to just it became an ego thing and basically he didn't
Thank
expect
you.
Carmelo to challenge him in any way. He's like, look, I'm bigger, I'm taller, I'm the football players here. You should supposed to know that and you just need to shut up and listen to me. And
But
Carmelo said
want to.
no.
I want to say this though. I want to say this. Because I guess we got to go down this road. With Carmelo Anthony, I'm going to disagree with Roger, and that's no surprise. Carmelo
That's smart.
Anthony was
But
a
it
three
should
point.
be.
That's smart.
No, he's three. He has like a 3 point something GPA. He was a track star. Why would you throw that all away by just not walking away? Right? Carmelo Anthony should have went to Truth Teller, who life you can throw away, and say handle that. Right? But you don't. A college bound kid, you don't do that
When
because you
keeping it
got your future.
when
You
keeping it
you
real
go to
goes wrong.
Pookie, you go to Pookie, you go to Peanut and them, and say Peanut, you know. right? Because Peanut is going to get street credit for that. He's going to get out in 5 years from good behavior, and he's going to get all the neighborhood coochie. His balls are going to be drowning, right? But him, he needs to go to college and make some of himself to help the race, right? He don't do that. That's where he made this. That's where I disagree. Yes, you make it uncomfortable, but you don't do that. You get the truth tellers of the world to do that.
Shout out to truth tellers.
Respectfully.
Hey, and when I spoke on Monday about the situation, man, I was speaking basically really on behalf of this young man because I don't see this as a victory. Bro, they got a lot of white people, man. They can stand to lose a few. You know what I'm saying? I just don't see it as a true victory, fellas.
Right. It's not a victory. It's not a victory, right? You get no placeholders of the world to do your light work.
Boy, you
I'd like to share some actionable information. So he's going to end up going to a reception center in about a week or so. And after he'll be at that reception center for about 2-3 months to acclimate him to whatever prison life, whether they're going to put him, I believe he's going to go to a youth facility. In about 2 months, he'll be really easy to find in the JLD or the DOJ in Texas. If you truly are behind this young man, you look him up. You find his inmate a DC number, as we will call it, and send him money directly to his account. If everybody that claims they're behind this guy sends him $1, at least financially he'll be taken care of while he's in prison. But niggas ain't gonna do that. We just want something to talk about.
Exactly.
No, I think that's a good idea. Actually,
No. It's a fantastic idea.
It is.
No, and I'm gonna say myself because I was gonna bring it up. I was gonna bring it up again myself. That
sure you were.
No, I wasn't gonna bring that up. I wasn't gonna bring that up. I'm trying to give you some credit. I wasn't gonna bring that up. I was gonna suggest that we send some more money to his
Absolutely not.
Go see and go. No. He gonna need something. He's gonna need something.
No. Any money you send to his parents are gonna go to them rims and gold teeth and paint jobs on their car. No.
Unfortunately,
no, bro. They didn't even get that man a lawyer. He went to trial with a public pretender. What are you talking about?
Yeah, his parents didn't love him. His parents really didn't love him.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you're going to go into debt for a car, you're definitely going into debt to get your son's freedom. So his parents ain't shit.
Well, so you guys know they haven't accessed that money, right? There's a lot of talk online about what the parents did or didn't do with that money. They haven't accessed it. They had to spend money to actually.
If you get a car, you finance a car, right? That's a $30,000 loan. Why not go to the bank and get $30,000 to get a lawyer?
Well, I mean, I'm just trying to clear some things up, but there was a lot of talk about, there was a lot of people saying all these negative things about the parents. The parents already actually have money. They were living in a nice neighborhood in Texas already, where there were at least, I'm not going to say multi-million-dollar homes, but at least $500,000 homes, right? So they were fine financially. They had to the father had to take a little bit of time away from work to kind of deal with some of the issues and problems associated with the trial and the early attack and all this other stuff. But for the most part, they're actually good financially. So that thing about them wasting the money, that's really not on the table.
No, but was the lawyer a public defendant or no?
Yeah, I don't understand, and he wasn't a good lawyer at all.
That rumor has been put out there that it's a public defender, but it's not a public defender. It is not a public defender.
He just wasn't a good lawyer.
Yeah, I don't know.
But at the same, maybe he was. I don't know, fellas. But I'm saying maybe sometimes the evidence is overwhelming that you can't do nothing. I know y'all think everybody can. Johnny Cochran, we can get you out of anything, bro. I know that sounds good, but it's not the actual reality.
He needed to risk cross examination and put Carmelo on the stand because he needed to convince the jury that he was in fear of his life. And if you don't show up on the
What
stand, then you're not
what
going to be able to
what if
convince that.
what if that will make it even worse? I mean, bro, that
But
may not
Jado,
have worked,
Jado,
fellas. Sometimes there's no options, fellas.
Well,
I know you
no,
guys
no,
don't
no,
want to.
Jado, Jado,
well,
Jado.
Okay,
You gotta
no, no.
change your mindset, brother. You gotta change your
I'm,
mindset.
okay, for sure, for
I'm
sure.
gonna
Because
say, I'm
because
gonna,
I guarantee you, if I was the lawyer, that nigga be free today. If I was to tell you that,
I,
that nigga be free
well,
today.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this, and I do mean this. I knew when we first heard the announcement about this nigga was going down. I just would never speak against him because I understand words have power. But nothing happened here that I didn't already know was going to happen last year. You know, I'm saving any comments about what the lawyer did because I just don't know what the lawyer did. I haven't really researched information on exactly what the lawyer did. I've heard people say this and that, but it was a closed trial, so it was also me trying to not take the word of somebody who didn't literally say I was in the proceedings. You know what I'm saying? Anybody I went with, I was trying to find people who said I was in the proceeding. Outside of that, it's just news reports. So I don't want to cast nothing on the guy's lawyer because I really don't know for sure. And I don't think he was getting away with. Remember, and I want y'all to understand this clearly. When we first did the first show about this, I already knew this nigga was going down. I knew that then. It was just going to be a happen. That's all. I knew he was done then, but I still believe he made the right moves. But America letting him do that and just get away with that, and the story getting that big, that wasn't gonna happen. So
No,
I'm kind of
see,
with Jado. Sometimes ain't nothing you can do about it.
hey,
no,
Roger,
you
but hey, Roger, why do you think that was the? You think that was his only option he could have exercised, man? Again, I wasn't
No,
there. I don't think any of you gentlemen were there either. But I'm
no,
saying
bro, when they
he's
told
going to
him
have
that
to do a minimum of 17 and a half years. A minimum. It could be
no,
35 years.
but
no.
I mean, he could have walked away because when they told him to scoot
But,
on from getting under the tent, he should have just left.
but we don't believe in that. We're black people.
What?
You're not going
No,
to tell
no,
us to
no,
move.
no. See, now my thing. Now y'all be going too far with it. I'm
Oh,
not going.
I'm going, Roger. I'm going
Uh,
too far.
Hold on.
Come on,
I'm
fella.
trying to ask you a question.
Come on, brother.
I wanted to get this out because Black Who had said this a while ago, and then I'm gonna answer your question because I do have a thought about that. Shout out to Black Who Strikes. He said most black people were not lynched. It's the effect of excuse me, it's the effect on the behavior and minds of black people the lynching caused. Why do you think the other black boys in that area are thinking right now? Okay. Well, what do you think the other black boys in that area are thinking right now? And I think the whole goal is just don't defend yourself. See, Carmelo should have took that whooping based on what is going on. Carmelo, take the whooping. Hopefully you live, but there's no guarantee you gonna live. So die, and then we'll do something about the white boys. And hopefully we do something where it actually means something, because it could have ended up with just nothing but a school suspension. Now I hadn't had time to see if it was true or not. I'm gonna say this is a rumor that the two boys were under a school suspension, so they weren't even supposed to be at the location because it was a school event and they were suspended. I don't know if that's actually true, and I do recommend people don't just go off of what people say. When people start throwing rumors out like this, see if the rumors are true first. So I'm gonna say that I don't even know that the boys were suspended. Now, if they were suspended, yeah, they shouldn't be at a school event because that goes along with suspension. But I don't even know if that's true because I've seen that's a rumor that's kind of getting around. See if the rumors are true first before y'all make too many public statements on it. And I'm gonna say this to you, Jado. I wasn't there. I ain't second guessing Carmelo. If Carmelo thought he need to pull out his knife and use, I think he's right. And I think everything that happened since he pulled that knife out confirms that he was correct. I think if you don't pull
No,
that knife out, that nigga is stomped out.
no,
All
he
the
could have.
people, according to the reports, every quote unquote kid, whether they're an adult now or not, that came and testified was literally a friend of Austin's. And to me, those are more potential people to jump him as he would have got jumped, because that was clearly what the intention was.
Hey,
And
were all these people white? I'm just
I
did
don't know if
anybody
they
know that?
I don't know if they were all white, but at the end of the day, they was his friends. Your
No, but we're
friends, it don't
missing
make a
something.
difference what color it is.
But we're missing something. We're missing something. When they told him to leave from the tent, that's all he had to do.
Yeah, but he
That's all.
didn't have to. But he
In
didn't have
Jado,
to.
in Jado, they were not all white. And second, what if the shoes was put on the other foot and Metcalf stabbed Carmelo Anthony because Carmelo Anthony was telling him to get from up under the tent? Would y'all have the same vigor?
Yeah, I'll be saying the same.
Nope.
I
Nope.
Absolutely
Nope.
not.
absolutely.
Nope.
Thank you,
Roger,
thank you.
Roger,
Absolutely not.
Roger, stop.
No, no,
Roger,
no, no, no,
no,
no.
Absolutely
no,
The
not.
thing is,
no.
the thing is, just because a color change don't mean everything changes. And real talk, that's just a good way
Uh,
to get
uh,
to let somebody off for something. When it comes down to it, the person who started the fight was the person who should have died. That's
So
just what it
Roger,
is.
Roger, can I help you out a little bit? Can I help you out a little bit?
I don't think I
Peter,
need it, but go ahead.
can you ask that question again? Ask that question again, please.
If the shoe was on the other foot, how would y'all be feeling?
That white dude would be guilty as hell. See, Roger, you gotta embrace it, man. Don't run away. You gotta embrace the racism you have. That that way people don't. Nobody said anything, right? Nobody's. Oh, come on, hot sauce. See, you just gotta embrace it, bro. When you
No,
embrace it, people just accept it.
no,
So Black Guru actually made a good point. He said, "How these other black kids feeling?" See, this is the thing. Black boys and black males, men, boys, we generally know what the rules are in society. And the general rule, and every black boy, every black male knows this: you do not bother white people unprovoked, because whatever happens, you're going to get the blame. So if you're interacting with a black with a white with a non-black person, especially a white person in a physical way, they better have had done something, right? They better have harmed you in some kind of way or threatened you in some kind of ways. Like, we know that. So that whole thing about it being switched around, I'm not going to say it's an impossibility. Only somebody with a criminal and degenerate mind would just run around attacking people for no reason. But people like Carmelo, Roger, myself, we don't run around, even though we have the size and we probably go to the gym and work out, got some muscles on us, this, that, and the third. We do not run around indiscriminately attacking black people, non-black people, especially white people, because we know the rules of U.S. society. And the society says that black people are not authorized to do that. Now, even if you're right, it don't matter. You have to be in danger, and it has to be legitimate self-defense. You can always say you have the right to self-defense. You never give that up. And you can always tell somebody who's trying to instigate something with you, hey, look, if you touch me, I will defend myself, and you're probably going to get hurt in the process. And I do know how to fight. And maybe I have a weapon, maybe I don't. Maybe you beat me, maybe I don't. Maybe you don't. But the bottom line is I will defend myself. Now, you got an option. You want to go to jail or you want to go home. Like, you got to put this stuff on these people and make sure that and give them the second, third, and fourth, thoughts about actually attacking you. But as far as black men and boys running around attacking people indiscriminately, unless you're a criminal degenerate, that is not our nature, and we don't do that, and we know not to do that. White boys don't know not to do that. They feel they have entitlement and authority to do whatever the hell they want, because that's what society imbues upon them, and that's what they're taught. I'll land.
Okay, and I'm
Yeah,
gonna jump in
ties,
right
no ties.
there. I'm gonna say Black Ooh strikes. He said, look up the definition of first degree murder. I defy any of you to say that this qualified as being such. And I'm gonna say, shout out to you, Black Rule, on that. And I actually, because we did a show about Carmelo on Monday, and I literally got a white lawyer to explain the legal definition of murder, so everybody could see that what happened don't fit murder. The fix was in way back last year. Okay, the fix was in last year. And I'm going to say, no, I look at things for what they are. And at the end of the day, it's not racial to the kids, it's racial to the adults. The kids are just doing what kids do. And at the end of the day, all the kids in question are Austin's friends. So therefore, all the kids in question is going to do what's good for Austin.
Fellas, how many of
No,
these? How
hold on,
many of the?
Gator. I didn't get in yet.
Oh, you right, you right. Go, my bad. That Roger, that's all you, Roger. My bad.
Okay. Thanks for throwing me under the bus unnecessarily, J-Lo. I will
I see
find,
that bus going by.
yeah, I will find a way to do it to you later.
All
Go
right,
ahead, Inspire.
as per usual, peace to the chat. I hope everybody's having a good day. We're gonna work this out on
Man,
Wednesday. All
y'all
right.
hear anything? Y'all hear anything? I don't hear nothing.
See, reset. We got to reset the timer just because of that. Just because of that. So here's the thing here. Like, we got to kind of stop and, all right, let's stop and think about this for a minute, like, and really look at like what we're seeing. A lot of what we're seeing here is just a projection of power. They made a whole lot of hay about, oh, he had a knife here to a track meet. It was a knife at a track meet. Why did he have a knife at a track meet? Kyle Rittenhouse had a whole darn rifle. He had a whole semi-automatic firearm illegally possessed and took it across state lines, and it was all good. He got off. It was considered self-defense. Meanwhile, you have Daniel Penny,
Wait, that's
delete
disingenuous, though.
Jordan Neely, who didn't
Yes.
touch anybody. The man was not touched. Took him out. What was it called? Okay, that was self-defense. Like every single darn thing down the line. Okay, we want to say that it should have been like proportional force. We want to say that it didn't matter about the size. All right. Mike Brown. The main thing they said about Mike Brown was, oh, it was a big dude. And that's why he had to get taken out. Like every single thing down the line has to be a double standard when we start talking about black people.
And it's far true, brother. I mean, I don't know. You guys are not overtly saying this, but we can't even stick to the case at hand to prove that the case at hand is the way it went, the way you guys maybe think it should have went, or maybe it shouldn't have went. We have to refer to other stuff. Why can't we just
Oh,
stick to this one?
The
That's not a
reason,
knock on you.
the
That's not a knock
reason,
on you. Yes, sir.
the
Yes, sir.
reason is
The
because we
reason.
live in a world with other factors. It's not just one singular factor. It's not an
But we're talking
isolated
about this
thing.
case, though.
Yes,
well,
we're talking
I,
about this case, and it's in the context of other things as well, because
N-
we live in a
Right,
world
right, right.
together
But I'm
with
saying this
other
case
things.
specifically,
And
though.
there's a such thing called
I can go
legal
back to I can go back
precedence.
to slavery if that's the case, brother.
no,
It's
no,
legal
hey,
precedence. It's
hey, no, 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 no.
applying other things
Well,
where
hold
they are
on.
applicable.
Hold on now. I'm gonna say this, Inspire. Jado is making a point that I don't think is even that big because I can stick to this particular case, and it's still gonna come. It's
Roger,
still gonna be
we know what you're
exactly what
doing,
I say it
Roger.
is. It's gonna be exactly what I say it is. Now I'm gonna read this by Black Guru. He said it becomes racial to the kids when they know they can get away with doing crap to certain other kids. Now I got to say shout out to him on that one. That's a fantastic point. Fantastic point.
Right,
But
Roger.
I go ahead. Say what you're gonna
I'm
say
just saying,
before I get to
how
cooking.
many? Oh my bad, bro. How
Now go
many
ahead. I want you to say it so before I cook it.
throughout my bad throughout the high schools of America? How many of these interactions, similar, not they may not be the exact same, but similar interactions do we have? Probably. I mean, I know you guys don't have a number, but I would imagine quite a few. Would you guys agree?
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure it's quite a
I
few.
don't know, but I do know that we had
Oh
cases
my! You
counseling where the
know,
guy was
inspired truth.
multiple
Come
stabbed,
on,
and we
bro,
called it, and we still call
brother,
that like mass
brother.
unnecessary
Come,
murder.
come.
Jado, look,
Oh my God!
Jado,
Am
let me
I am
help
I am I insane?
Yeah,
Yes.
Jado, slow down. Let me help you,
Yeah,
bro.
my bad, bro.
This ain't the day to be right. This the day to be black. Just a
No,
second.
you got
I'm
to.
black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black. And
Black.
black. Yeah,
That's
my
Black
bad. I'm
y'all.
gonna
Jado.
turn it off, man.
Jado.
I'm gonna turn
Legal
it
Just
off.
precedent
just
exists for a
this
reason.
ain't
Other
this
cases
ain't the
exist.
Jado report live. This is the Roger report
You're right.
live.
You're
And
right. I'm gonna
today,
fall back. I'm gonna fall
today
back.
is the day to be black. Just be black with us today, okay?
Yeah.
No,
Yes,
Just
sir.
be
Yes,
black
sir.
with us.
now, let's keep it real. Black people need to be right every day. Just that saying, you got to be more than right every day, which is cases proven. You got to be more than right. What
You
happened in
gotta
this
be
case?
you
What
gotta
happened
be
in
twice as right to get half the justice as a black man, bro.
and
That's what we're talking about.
and I'm gonna say, like I said earlier, all the justice he was gonna get, he got that day. And at the end of the day, I'm gonna say this, man. Karmelo was in a situation. Karmelo made an assessment. Karmelo made a move. I agree with him. I'm not second guessing anything that dude did. He assessed that he got a problem on his hands, and he figured out a way to get out of that problem. Now, if you want him to say I'm sorry, he can say it to you. I ain't even saying he got to mean it. He can say it to you though. But the bully dead. It's that simple. I mean, we want. Hey, it's still somebody's child. Everybody who died, somebody's child.
Roger,
Oh, he was young. He made the decision when he was young. That's on him.
Hey,
It is
Roger,
what it is.
I didn't know you went to the school of Al Sharpton.
No, he may have went to my school. He may have went to my school, but at the end of the day, brother, if you attack me and I kill you, you just a dead nigga to me. I'm not gonna apologize for defending myself to anybody.
I guess I'm saying with these, I'm sure most of you guys, if you're being reasonable, you would say these type of interactions happen throughout the high schools of America, maybe pretty often.
Every day.
So you guys are you guys saying that you're and I'm talking about all black high schools, all white high schools, mixed high schools, all of them.
Yeah,
so you guys are saying you're comfortable with, I guess, being bullied, being pushed or whatever. And the guy said, "Hey, you know what? I feared for my life at the time. I'm gonna do what I have to do." You guys are comfortable with that?
Okay, so you're talking about all these incidents in high
No,
school.
no,
Yeah,
no.
there are a lot of, there probably quite a bit number of fights, but they don't usually end in somebody losing their life. It's usually, a few
Correct.
punches are thrown. There's some assault. People get processed, and there's stuff that does happen. We do get that, but generally, for the
I'm
most
not.
part, it's rare that a kid loses his life. You can have
What I'm
dozens of these
asking,
incidents
no,
all
that's
throughout the school year.
Mr.
Well,
X. I'm not trying to be funny.
let me
Would you guys
respond to
mind
you,
answering that or no?
Hold on. Let me respond to you, J-Lo. Let me respond to you. Now, those that know, y'all know. I done had multiple channels for all these years. What have I consistently said? I don't start fights with anybody. I don't know what somebody going through that day. I ain't gonna bother nobody. So if I fight you, you brought that on yourself. So guess what, Gato? Only thing you saying to me is, am I okay with leaving people alone and nobody dying? Yes. Am I also okay? Am I also okay with somebody starting something and then they getting killed? I'm gonna have to say yes.
I have to add to Roger's point, like when he's talking about somebody jumping in and like pulling out the blicky and
Y'all
taking
slick
somebody out,
talking me,
that really
man.
does
Y'all
actually
slick
happen in
talking
real
me,
life.
man.
Like I've actually seen, like I've actually had like a case like that pop up, like in Louisiana, like at a university. You had a LSU student basketball player come over to a Southern homecoming, got into a fight. Somebody, he was winning the fight. A friend got out and blew his head off. It
That
basically shot him in the head. Like
y'all
these
slick
things
talking,
happen.
fellas. There's many ways you can slick talk. Can y'all? No one's answering the question directly. But I get it. That's cool. I'm gonna fall back.
What?
Hey, GBR,
What?
you
No,
right.
no, no.
I'm gonna just be black. I'm gonna just be black today. I'm gonna fall back.
Thank you, bro. Thank you,
I mean,
bro.
what
Thank
like what? I mean, this is a rare incident, and it just happened to be racialized this time. But these incidents where there's fights at schools, they don't usually end up in somebody losing their life. People get bruised up, they might even get some injuries. Somebody even might be evacuated. But the thing is that a lot of these kids don't come out with loss of life, which is why this stands out. And the fact that it's racialized, that's really the major issue. But either one of those kids, either Anthony or Austin Metcalf, any of the Metcalfs could have went and got a coach. Either one of them could have done that. There were some egos that got involved, and things did get out of control. Notice how his buddy was real quick to sell him out, though. The one who invited him over, he ain't say nothing. He just sat there and let them be bullies. I got a problem with that kid. But a lot of this could have been avoided. But the bottom line is that once you put your hands on somebody else, Now, the issue I have with people who do this thing where they think they can push other people around is they think they can dictate the response. You never know what the response is going to be, which is why, and I think everybody can agree to this overarching lesson, is that you keep your hands to yourself. That is a universal rule that we all know since elementary school.
Yep, and I'm gonna
Now
say,
that
hold
that
on, because I got to get my
go ahead.
reputation back. Jado said nobody answers this question directly. I answered your question directly twice. I said I've been preaching. I don't touch nobody. So if somebody touch me, I'm doing what I do. So I have to agree with it. And if it go out wrong in any other scenario, I got to agree with it. I answered your question as I'm cool with it. I'm 100% cool with it. Leave me alone. And if I do you dirty because you bother me, tough. I don't care. That's what
And
I'm
there's
saying.
a and there's a
I think
You put a little spin on it, Ron. You did a little mixing,
we
but
need.
I got you.
I think we need to be lobbying our lawmakers when it comes to things like this, where just what Mr. X said, and I said this yesterday. You cannot determine the response of a person after you have attacked them. You just can't. You can't measure that. You can't say, "Hey, you're supposed to only use this much force." No, nigga, you bothering me. And we need to be lobbying our lawmakers to make a change for that. We really do.
What I'm gonna say, at the end of the day, you have to have a respect factor that I can use the same laws you can. Because at the end of the day, Carmelo stood his ground. It's that simple. Now, him standing his ground resulted in a bully getting killed. Why is that such a big deal? He's just a bully. If somebody got to get killed, why not him? I'm not going to come out here and rant and rave for anybody's death. But if a death got to happen, why is it not okay it happened to the actual bully?
Hey, I get. Maybe it seems like I'm advocating for bullies, and of course I'm not. But this young man has to sit down. He may possibly have to sit down for 35 years out of his life.
No,
And
that's a
maybe,
very
and maybe, and maybe those twins and all these other people, you guys, I don't know, the number is ranged from like, 2 to all the way to 100, right?
it
So
was
I don't know. Maybe they would have beat Carmelo to death. Maybe they would have did that right there in broad daylight at a track meet. Maybe. I don't think it's probable, but it's possible. But I'm saying if
well.
we're comfortable with that, let's just say we're comfortable with that. That's fine. I get it, man. I get it.
Well, here's another thing. Like, there's a lot of stuff in between death. Like, there's also being maimed. There's also serious, significant bodily injury. Like, there's a whole
Obviously,
bunch of stuff in
obviously,
between that.
yes, of
But whatever
course.
y'all saying, I bet you Carmelo Anthony wish he did something totally different.
Yeah.
Well,
I
I
mean,
suspect both sides wish they'd have done something completely different. But the bottom line is, this is why, again, security officers, a faculty member, or a coach should have actually been involved when their egos got involved. Either one of them could have done it, and and I'm gonna hold Anthony responsible as much as I will hold the Metcalf responsible. Remember, it was the Metcalfs who started it. One brother started it, Hunter. The other one escalated it. They could have stopped at any point when they got a coach. Anthony could have done the exact same thing. And by the way, the kid who invited him over could have said, "Hey, look, he's here at my behest. Can you guys just leave this alone? I know him. I said he could be here. I know he's on a different team, but it's all cool." I mean, everybody's basically throwing him under the bus, but and other decisions could have been made. But the bottom line, an attack was made. Carmelo responded. So to some extent, I actually agree with Roger. The only issue I have, and the only question that was on the floor for me was he so much in fear of his life that it required a proportional response to the point that it cost
Yes.
somebody else their life? And had he
Yes.
proven that, he might have been able to walk away from this. It's just that
what
his defense didn't get the job done. He had a terrible defense.
as
He
a
did have
person,
terrible defense.
who's literally been attacked by people he did not know, and I ain't gonna even tell you how many people it was because you wouldn't even believe the number. Truth be told, you wouldn't actually believe it. As a person whose family had to sit there and pray for him because the only reason I'm here because I had the right people praying for me because I should have been gone. Ain't nowhere in the world I'm gonna suggest anybody take those type of risks. If you think you about to get stomped out, don't accept it. I ain't saying you can stop yourself from being stomped out, but don't let it happen. At least make an effort, bust a grape, do something, because everybody don't get to walk away. And the thing is, I'm 100% with Karmelo. He made his assessment, he made his decision, and it was clearly the right one. And people just upset because some. Hold on, let me say this: people are upset because some bully died. He shouldn't have been a bully. He'd be alive if he wasn't.
Hey, Roger, I empathize with your situation, bro, but I'm pretty sure the circumstances were vastly different. I'm sure, bro. I'm sure it was vastly different. That's just my guess. I'm taking a wild guess, man. It was vastly different. And I get it. And I get, yeah.
Go ahead.
And I'm saying I get it, man. Like I get it. Like people, dog, we take a risk anytime we leave outside our homes, or maybe inside of our homes. You know what I'm saying? I get it, but I'm just saying, like, and I get Roger, you answered my question, but I'm saying we're okay with it. That's cool, man. I get it, man.
I'd take 35 years and being alive than be in Austin shape. It's an easy choice for me.
But he like I said, it's another case of keeping it real goes wrong. Because if Carmelo didn't have that knife on him, he would have got up and moved as soon as after after they told him 5 times, he would have got up and moved.
So what gave these two bullies the authority to run around telling anybody what to do? They were peers. He wasn't the boss of anybody. That again, it just got out of control.
Wait, X, you know what gave them that authority? The same authority that give niggas the same authority that give niggas in California the authority to tell you got to check in when you want to come to California. The same authority that niggas give you when you walk on their block and they ask you where you from.
That's street business.
Crazy bravado. Just stupid bravado.
We don't want to talk about that's different. We don't want to talk about that.
Away from street business, we're supposed to be able to be diplomatic and gentlemen, right? And solve it without going to physical altercations. But street business is completely different. I can't.
No. Hold fast now. Hold fast. This is where y'all give these people benefit of the doubt. Ain't no guarantee I'll walk away, they don't jump me. There ain't no guarantee of that. There's none. Y'all just giving people benefit of doubt. You don't know nothing about their character, but you do know they got up to mess with him in the first place. That's the only thing I know 100% for sure. They got up to bother him in the first place. Those ain't the people I'm finna bet gonna just let me walk away. All some people want to do is get you from behind. So you're giving these kids a whole bunch of benefit of the doubt. And that means you're gonna just be okay. Ain't no guarantee he's gonna be okay. Karmelo has a judgment. He may have associated with some of those kids, possibly. They say they didn't really know each other. Whatever assessment he made, I got to agree with it. He was the person in the situation. I agree with his assessment, and I agree with what he did to mitigate his risk. And he clearly made the right decision because one of them did and one of them not.
I've seen that too. I've seen a guy get hit from behind with like a group of 4 people because he was arguing with one. Like, and I've seen him and it's white people, like actually white on white violence, where a dude got jumped and then just beat the heck out of him. One grabs a 2x4 and starts whacking them like a damn pinata. Like, stuff happens in real life, just like that.
And my thing is the people around the place show us what's happening. They gave the guy 35 years. They know what happened, and they gave him 35 years for it. He wasn't in a good place.
But what if this is not, like, I agree with Jado. What if this is not the hill to stand on?
You know what? My bad. I apologize, y'all. We done got a little out of hand. I done got out of hand. I ain't let this brother get his opening statement in.
2 for 2, Roger. You 2 for
2. Hey.
Long-winded Negro.
Hold on. You trying to come to his rescue?
Oh, you know what? I apologize.
You come to my rescue.
All right,
I switched from the dark side.
I was a little too zealous in the backing up on the bus, and I didn't realize what I was doing. I apologize, Roger.
Well, Waleed Ahmed, I don't know this name. Well, how you say it? Asaki? Because I'm assuming this is a famous person.
Waleed Ahmed Assad. It's actually or Asaki. I'm sorry, Asaki. It's actually a kid who is in a very similar situation right now as we speak. Same
How you
incident.
gonna choose?
Kind of
How
went
you
crazy.
gonna choose a name that you can't
Can't
pronounce? How you
pronounce.
gonna
Ain't
do
that
that?
some shit?
This nigga,
Waleed Ahmad
what,
Asaki, bro.
what that
Is that
nigga
a
backstage
is
again,
that a
Rogers? What
FBA?
that?
Is that a FBA name?
Nah, it's a Middle Eastern name, I'm believing. But this kid, they don't even show his
I
face.
only
They
support
protecting the
FBA,
kid.
man.
All I saw was his arm, and his arm looked, it looked like Middle Eastern arm.
He
So,
could tell that
anyways,
from an
man,
arm.
yeah, it was the
All right,
name
two
too.
minutes
I just made some assumptions.
uninterrupted.
But what up, Roger? What up, panel? What up, chat, man? My heart is heavy with this one, man. Like I'm kind of messed up about it. I hate this for Carmelo. Seemed like a great kid. His life was on a pretty good trajectory, and all of a sudden it's gone, right? And really, as black fathers with black sons, the conversation at the dinner table needs to change a bit, and it's sad the way in which I believe it needs to change. Essentially, we're at a point where we essentially have to tell our children, if you are confronted at school, you feel like your safety is at risk, we're gonna have to start telling them to run away or maybe get in the fetal position and just try to survive whatever they do to you. Because if you defend yourself, your life could be thrown away simply for trying to make sure that you're protecting yourself. That's a sad conversation to have, man, because essentially what we be telling our sons is the rights they have, you don't have. They have the right to defend themselves, but you don't have the right to defend yourself. And the reason I came in with this name today is I want to see exactly how this case turns out, because that tells us a lot. I mean, this particular incident happened in Tacoma. This was an incident in which a boy was jumped by I think about 5 or 6 other students. It's all on video. He has a knife in the school. He's defending himself. Fortunately, no one died in this particular incident, but a few people got stabbed. If this guy gets cleared of all the actions that were taken that day on his end and the other end, that's pretty much nail in the coffin right there. That tells us everything that we need to know about the state of America if you haven't figured it out yet. I'm going to land my plane there.
Yo, but Brock, when I was in elementary school, my mother told me, if you're having a problem with somebody, you go tell the teacher. If the teacher don't do nothing about it and they still bothering you, then you're gonna have to do whatever you have to do. And I wasn't
Yeah,
around no white people. I was around black people.
I
It's
mean,
just teaching your child what the hell is right and wrong and how to dissolve a situation so they can come home safe or they not getting suspended in school, et cetera, et cetera. Y'all keep making this like a ill ass white situation, and it's like, bro, sometimes it's just morals and standards.
Yeah,
Sometimes it's just
So
survival. Some like
sometimes you
so
should
if
just
y'all
not
so
bully
wait, hold on.
people.
So if y'all pumping this right now, then when the young black man shoots another black man, y'all gotta stand on the same hill. I don't want to hear no, oh, they should have fought it out, or he should have walked away, or he should. No, we got to stand on the same hill.
I don't
Why?
have a problem with that
Why?
actually. Like a
I don't have
bully's
a
a
Well,
bully.
problem
so
with I don't have a problem with
All
self-defense
right,
in
I'm cool
any
with that then.
situation, regardless of what race you have to defend yourself against.
yeah, and
What I'm
and why?
pointing out, what I'm
Why?
pointing out is that when it's us defending ourselves against particular race of people, and we have to get drugged through the American court system, this is the outcome. We just did a show yesterday about a guy who chased a guy a football field and a half length, and shot him down and got off.
All right, all right. Black Who's coming up, y'all. So let's hold fast so he can get the mic. But I'm gonna say self defense is good, and I'm also say why should I second guess Carmelo? I'm not second guessing the brother. He felt what he needed to do. He made his move. He was there. I ain't second guessing. I think he did a great job. Real talk. Okay. And sometimes it ain't nothing but bad decisions in front of you. And that's a reality we act like don't exist. Sometimes all the decisions that you can make are all bad ones. It's just which bad one you're going to take. But I'm going to stop because Black Guru is here. You got it, my brother. Black Rule, you're on mute if you talk.
Hey, am I coming in?
Yes, sir.
Am
Yes,
I
sir.
coming in or?
We hear you. We hear you.
Yeah. Oh, well,
You good? You good? We ain't gonna do you. We ain't gonna do you like we do in Spot Truth.
thanks for having me. I'm a little disappointed.
Uh-oh.
Some of the thinking on this issue here. I mean, you guys, man, you guys are kind of sanctioning, a return back to some pretty harsh times for black men. You can't be on record for supporting this kind of stuff. You can't. I know you're younger and you didn't experience things that your grandfathers and whatever experienced, and so you don't really know it. Maybe you had some harsh times when you were growing up. Maybe your mama was on crack or all that kind of shit, but y'all didn't know that separate but equal America. Y'all didn't know that. And these people are on that time right now. The shit that happened in South Carolina, what happened in Texas yesterday, they're on that time right now. And you don't want to be on record for supporting it. You don't want to be a part of supporting it. And that's what some of you all are doing. Look, the fix was in on this thing when they charged the guy with first degree murder. Brother, you don't even have to go to law school to know this wasn't first degree murder. You go watch a fucking episode of Law and Order and know this was not first degree murder. So it was a bad thing. And the fact that we're talking all around that, I mean, it clearly was railroaded. Apparently, there were some relationships between the Austin's father and all. I mean, you don't want to be on record for supporting this kind of thing. We can have debates about black society and family and community and how people are raising each other. That's well and good. But man, y'all don't want to be on record for supporting this kind of thing. I promise you don't. And if I'm a parent of some black kids in the area, I'm scared of some sons in particular. I'm scared shitless right now. Because they basically put a target of
Can't hear you, bro.
See, that's the devil. Usually, when they happen to reset, it's God. When they happen to reset, it's God. When they happen to Uru, it's the devil.
Yeah,
That's a lot of distortion. Is that me?
Nah, that's him.
Nah,
That's him.
y'all
That's
all
him.
Messed up.
That's him. I kicked him off.
You ain't have to take a shot at my mama. Uru. I heard you. You ain't have to take a shot at my mama.
Well, I kicked him off for the moment. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully he'll come back. If I kick y'all off, and and the problem, that just means you so bad we can't really hear nothing. So, you ain't got to take it personal. You ain't got to take it personal. So hopefully he'll
I
come
think
back.
I think all that feedback is coming from Brunk's device. So when you come back up, take Brunk down. We'll see
I
how it
think that
works.
Uru made a very good point though. Like he went back and he kind of talked about how a lot of this stuff is connected. Like we're seeing stuff over here, we're seeing stuff over there, but also we had like the connections between the prosecution, the defense, and the father and the judge. Like that's too many people, in their same circle, just buddy with each other.
Well, what he was pointing out though is what I was saying in my opening statement, man. It's almost like if you all are supporting anything about the outcome of this and saying Carmelo had a duty to do something else other than what he did, then you're supporting changing the conversation at the dinner table with our black boys, man. You basically telling us to tell our black boys, crawl up in the fetal position, guard your head, and just take the beating, and then deal with everything after the fact.
I mean, look, man. Respect to all you fellas. I think that's more straw man arguments. I don't think I'm saying it. I mean, you guys are pretty much talking to me. I think maybe a little bit. My brother Shark. I don't know his name today. Raw dog. But hey, I'm not. That's a straw man argument. I'm not. Y'all okay? Yeah, all black boys across America crawl in a fetal position. Hold your head down when you passing a white. You're straw man arguments. That's not what I'm saying.
Not
Okay,
at
so
all.
I think
And
clear it
y'all
up for me.
pulling me
What are you suggesting then? I don't want to put words in your mouth.
for
Yo,
the. I said it.
Jado, they just race baiting, bro. Because
I know. I
no,
know, bro.
no,
I
no,
know. But
no.
I'm
it's
trying.
not
I'm
any
trying
of
to.
that. What we're talking about is
I'm
when
No,
saying. I
I'm
know.
not
it's not
doing
just
that,
when,
bro.
raw.
when y'all
It's
I'm
get
not
We
not
have
doing
to.
that.
it's
We have to go back to Jim Crow, slavery. I don't know how much further we're gonna go back again.
well,
I know. Hey, we're fellas. I mean, we're free. I'm not saying there's no racists out here. I'm saying for the sake of that young brother, his life. I don't look. We can be happy and proud, and yeah, we can put money on his books, but he got to do that time. Not any of
yeah,
y'all. Not any of y'all. He got to do that time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants it. Would y'all trade? Hey, you know what? If it were allowed, would y'all go ahead and do his time? Do his bid for him if you're so proud. I'm
Champ,
sure none of y'all will. None of y'all. Oh, you would say it, but you wouldn't do it.
Champ definitely
None of
said he would.
y'all.
Champ definitely said he would.
Man,
but
man,
Roger,
we
you
don't
did
Well,
say
believe
you
that
I
do it.
he.
said it.
None of us believe that
If
Listen,
he
the
you
should be
reason
really,
why
doing it
I said
anytime.
it. Look, the reason
Yeah.
why I
yeah,
said
you're
it because
saying it. It's
Champ
talk.
ain't gonna do it
It's talk.
either.
None of us believe that he should be doing anytime.
yeah, he shouldn't. He
No,
should
well,
be
that's
Now,
not the
now,
point, fellas. We can believe all we want. We can wish and hope. Yeah, yeah. The reality is, he gotta sit down. Not any of you
Look,
guys.
look.
the reality is he got
None.
railroaded in the worst way
No, the
over
exactly. He's
reality
defending
been
himself.
is Roger.
Oh
The
my
Over
reality is
God.
defending himself.
he gotta sit down for 35 years
Bro,
at the most.
35 years and everything just to defend himself, and possibly before all that stuff, if before all this happened, he could
Hey,
have been possibly seriously injured
hey,
by two
are you guys
combined
out
Wait,
here
combined
moving and
wait,
females.
Well,
wait,
are
hold
you
fast.
guys out here
Guys,
moving and tactical?
we
Yeah, my
got another
bad.
we got another guest. We got another guest coming in. He got to get his 2 minutes at least. All right. Shout out shout out to no defense and demonetized. Glad to have you, brother. Glad to have you. Where you going with this? Where you going with it?
Roger, thanks for having me. Panel, how you guys doing today?
Peace.
good.
Peace,
Thank you,
brother.
peace,
bro.
We a
peace.
little excited. I think we a little excited.
All right, good deal. Well, I'm gonna let y'all know I'm in the Dallas Fort Worth area where this trial is being held or was being held at this point. And I could tell you the nature of the city right now is where you're seeing a lot of people basically be tribal. Everybody's going to their corners when it comes to their opinions on this case. Now, my thing that I've looked at and observed when it comes to this case is that for both sides, most of it has been based on everybody's feelings about formalities in this case, how everything's been handled. Such as when we can look at the beginning of it, when you take the dynamic of when everything happened and transpired, when you even read the police report, how basically Carmelo basically expressed, is he going to be okay after the stabbing? That was noted and put in the police report. So, in the event that this case to me could have changed in some way, is when he bonded out and had the lady judge originally set his bail at a lower rate, to where basically when he bonded out, he had a chance to be able to show remorse or give something to the public that could have maybe just maybe gave something to be able to change this case in some form or way. This just something to think about, and I'm giving to the panel at the moment just to be able to give rebuttals on and so forth, because we can dissect this layer by layer if we want to all day. But if we look at that dynamic based on, we know as a black man in America, we really don't get any type of I guess you could say, relief when it comes to the letter of the law, especially in the instance of the crime that was committed at this point, and that he was accused of and basically got um, convicted for. So, um, I guess I'm ready to hear what the panel has to say and weigh in. Do you think that in the event that when he bailed out and they had the press conference, if he would have showed some remorse regarding the action that happened and basically gave some type of credence to the family, would maybe this have changed the objective of how the case was being viewed?
I
It
think
would have
I
been a
think that's
risk.
just
It would have
another
been
way.
very
Let me
risky.
say this, Truth. I think that's another way.
Hold fast, one at a time, one at a time. We're gonna start down there at Great Black Reese Nigga Law's end, and we'll work our way toward him. Okay, so Nigga Law, what's your take
Thank
on
you,
it?
sir. I think that would have been on the responsibility of the lawyer to come up with that type of strategy, and maybe that would have been a good strategy for him to do a bit of a press conference and stuff like that. And having said that, I would say what we need to be teaching our children now, especially after these last two trials, is they can't be caught with weapons of any kind.
See. We asked you to answer the question. Now you want to throw a whole extra speech in there, brother. Now you want to throw a whole extra speech. We got a bunch of people waiting to answer the same question. No speeches, y'all. Let's give an answer to the question, okay?
Hey,
Nigga
reset.
should have
Go
gave
start
me
a
the mic,
church.
nigga. Should have gave me the mic, nigga.
Go start a church. Reset. Go start a church.
Yeah.
Hey,
J-Lo,
that
what's your answer?
that nigga came here asking questions. Why you blaming me?
See, this is what happened when you pass LeBron the ball.
All right. J-Lo, your response to that
I
question, brother.
mean, quite possibly it could have made a difference. I mean, I'm not sure. It could have made a difference. Absolutely.
All right. Next is Mr. X. Mr. X, are you there? Mr. X going once. Mr. X going twice. And that's gonna be that. We gonna move on. All right. Next person in line would be inspired. No, my bad. Trump's America would be next in line. Trump's America going once. Trump's America going twice. Okay. Sometimes y'all people go to the bathroom. It is what it is. Sometimes people go to the bathroom. All right. Inspired Truth. What say you, my brother? What say you?
I think that would have been a roll of the dice. It might have turned out really well, or it might have turned out really, really bad. What you're talking about is like a younger fellow. You're talking about like a 17-year-old making that statement. Anything that you say can be held against you. So it probably would have been something that the lawyers would have advised them not to do because of the inherent risk of saying something that actually operates against them.
Okay. Waleed, what you say? Bro, you came up with this name. You're not recognizing the name? Waleed, Ahmed, whatever the last name is?
Yo, Brock.
This dude in the bathroom. Okay. That's what I'm gonna say. Dude is in the bathroom. Okay, we're gonna keep it.
I'm gonna call him Cassius, man. I'm gonna call him Cassius.
Hello, my bad.
If it's my
I'm gonna
name,
call him Cassius.
but man, I think that's just another way to essentially put out there that Carmelo could have did something differently, man. That's what I think that sounds like. I don't think he needed to do anything other than what he did, which was defend himself. All right. I
All
don't
right.
think he needed to do any remorse press conferences or anything like that. He didn't need to do anything more than what he did that day, which was make sure that he left that situation behind.
All right, champ. What say you?
Well, my thing is, I thought Carmelo Anthony stood his ground. His huge possibility of getting injured or possibly lose his life by two guys who weighed a combined 400 pounds. What is his option?
All right, y'all. We just trying to get an answer to the question because we got a lot of people in line. We just trying to get an answer to the question. Okay, yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Appreciate you. Pookie Raw, what's your answer?
I definitely think that would have helped him out because at the end of the day, you got to learn how to play the game. You can't be so black that you don't even want to learn how to play the swindler's game. And that is how you play it. You go up there, you beg for remorse, even if you ain't want remorse, even if you ain't sorry. You act like you're sorry.
Okay. Good kid. Good kid. What was it? Wrong. I forgot what it was. Wrong city or something. But you got a response. You think if he would have did something, it would have helped?
Uh, Not really. I think they already wanted to do what they did. If anything, I think it would have been quite humiliating for him. Because when you're dealing with these type of efforts and you did something as courageous as you did, and then you have to back off and beg for mercy, things like that, it makes you look like a coward.
All right. Now I'm gonna give my response. If Rael wants to give a response to that question, he can, and then he can make whatever statement he wants to make as well. So I'm gonna say to answer your question, no defense and demonetize. No, I don't think there was nothing he could do. I think these people in this area was telling us clearly that Karmelo don't have a chance, and we just didn't want to listen to him. I mean, the fact that they put the bond up to $1 million in the first place was already letting you know what type of game they own, what type of time they own. Okay. Now it was cool that they drop it to 250,000, but I'm not gonna pretend that 250,000 ain't $250,000. Dang, who got $250,000 sitting around that they can really just use and access like that? I understand they come from a nice area. I get that, but $250,000 is gonna challenge even the person in a nice area. Unless you've been sitting over there for some years and years and years. These ain't the oldest folk. Okay. His mom and dad don't look like they in their 70s or nothing like that. They done sat a long time on money. They don't look that way to me. No, I don't think there was anything he could do to actually help his situation. They was just against him from start, and everything I saw pretty much confirmed that they was against him from start. And that's what I saw it from the beginning when I first heard the announcement. I knew this man was going to prison. I just didn't want to publicly say it, but I knew he was going. But Rael has come up as a new person, so if he wants to answer that question, you can, or you can just dive in wherever you want to dive in at.
Peace of the panel, peace of the chat. I'll just skip that question. I want to ask the panel a question. Two questions. If you had a son that was in a predominantly white area, going to a predominantly white school, wealthy district, would you advise him to have a knife on him at school?
All right, I guess we go down in the same order. Jado, what say you?
Negative.
Mr. X?
He in the bathroom.
Inspired true. What say you?
Nah, I wouldn't advise him to have that on him, but I wouldn't put him in that situation in the first place where he's inside of the enemy lines.
All right, Waleed?
Good answer.
No.
Champ?
If it's permitted, yes.
Pookie?
No, I would have bought him some nunchucks and karate that nigga ass up. But hell no, I wouldn't advise my son to do that.
What's all?
No defense and demonetize.
Not at all, because if I'm sending my kid to school, I shouldn't have to worry about my kid's safety based on the school district that I've allowed him to be in. So that's not something that I would even think that I would have to have my kid be placed in a position of having to defend himself with a weapon.
Okay.
That makes sense. Good kid, wrong whatever. What say you?
No, but I'll tell him to have some mace in his pocket.
Okay. I'm gonna say for myself, I don't actually know, because I don't trust white people like that. I would think you wouldn't have to do it, but with my personal lack of trust of white people in the group, I'm cool with them as individuals, but white people in the group, I don't have a real trust for white people as a group. So I would like to say probably not, but I'm not sure that I would say that.
Okay. Now I'm gonna ask the same question, but I'm gonna flip it. Would you advise them to have that in a predominantly black school?
Jado, then put yourself in the bag. What you gonna say?
Negative.
Okay, Mr. X, you there? All right, we're gonna keep pushing forward. Inspired truth.
Nah.
Wally,
No.
the champ.
Unfortunately, yes.
Don't hey, you guys messing me up, right? You messing Pookie wrong.
No.
No defense and demonetized.
Absolutely not.
All right, good kid, wrong something. Yeah, they.
No, just the mace.
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna give my people more benefit of the doubt. So I'm just gonna say no.
There is one thing that you guys mentioned, but we didn't kind of harp on a bit. Somebody mentioned Zimmerman, Kate, not Kate Anthony, the Denny case, Rittenhouse. They all claim self-defense, but there was questions about how they went about that self-defense, and then when these, actions are applied when races are switched around, now it becomes something different. So you know that is the issue with you got to have, if you have a true system with integrity and honesty, and then you want people to trust it, then it has to be standard across the board, or at least very close to it. That's not what we have. So
We
that's
already
why.
established we don't have a system with it. We have a system that doesn't have integrity. We all know that on this panel.
Well, there's a bunch of people who are not black trying to convince us that it is, and they're very clear about making it, trying to, I'll just say, psychologically manipulate black people into believing that it is. When we clear, and they know that it's not. They just need us to believe it, right? And we don't. So that's where it's not so much about whether he did was right or wrong. It's when we see the inconsistency and the hypocrisy of it, and the not equal application or relative application of these laws. That's where you're going to have problems, and that's what this thing really is about: race and unequal application of these laws, and who gets to do what based on who's in charge and who has the authority, who can make the decision, who can say, "I said so."
Now I'm gonna say this because I know it's touching when it touches you personally. I've been saying I'm proud of Karmelo. I'm cool with what Karmelo did. Karmelo was there. He made a threat assessment. He did what he believed it was necessary he needed to do. Plus, he gave everybody warning to let them know, I will pull this out this bag and get to working. He let everybody know. Now, once somebody gave you the warning and you don't adhere to the warning, that is on you at the end of the day. Now my thing is, now what if my son is in the position of Austin? My son, even if he's dying because he got stabbed, he gonna hear my voice tell him, I told you not to bother anybody. That's what he gonna hear. He gonna hear dad saying, I told you leave people alone. I told you don't fight unless it's absolutely necessary. That's what my son gonna hear on the way out. So for me, there is no switch up. I don't believe in bothering people. It's that simple at the end of the day. I do not know what you've been going through. I do not know how you're going to respond. I do not know how you're going to just use me as an opportunity to take out something else that's going on in your life. I ain't going to bother you, period, because I just don't believe in it. And the reason I don't believe in bothering people, because I do take stances that sometimes people going to take you out. So me understanding that somebody may take me out for bothering them is a good reason for me to leave people alone.
Roger, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
If the situation was reversed and Carmelo was the aggressor, and it's a predominantly black school, and Metcalf was the one who poked him, that would be justified, right?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't even cover the story because my thing is, if you started and you got taken out because you started, I probably wouldn't even cover the store. Truth be told.
Does the rest of the panel believe the same thing though?
Yeah, yeah. If the roles were reversed and there was a white kid who defended himself against a black kid in the same fashion, absolutely, I would support that.
Man, Rael, ask the next question. Goddamn it, these niggas is fronting.
Yeah, they playing games, bro.
Nah, it's not. It's not playing games, bro. Because I really believe
Hey,
it.
what?
I really believe it.
They front.
I don't know. When we talking rhetorically, man, like we can always say that good. We can always answer until when you're in the field, when it actually happens, man, it tends to be
Well,
different, man.
Here we go. Kyle Rittenhouse, right? Didn't the guy who was about to didn't the guy
Yeah,
he killed have a gun? Didn't the guy he shot have a gun?
totally different circumstances, brother.
He had a gun though, right? So Kyle Rittenhouse, in my opinion,
Totally
was
different
protecting himself.
circumstances.
Totally different.
But that's an
Who,
example,
who,
bro.
who did he
Look,
shoot? Did he shoot any black people?
if
Nope.
the
No,
dude
I think
was
he
black
shot
and he
It
white
ain't
had a
our
people.
problem.
gun,
It ain't our problem. It ain't
Yeah,
our,
he
that's white
shot
people
white
Thank you,
people.
mind
problem.
if
your
he
mind your
did
business.
shoot a black dude
That's white people.
that had a gun on
That's
him.
white on white. That's white on white crime. That ain't got nothing to do with us.
All right, what's another situation I can bring up?
Yeah.
Here we go. You reaching,
Nah,
boy.
because bro,
Let's go back to
all right,
1955, bro.
no,
How far we gonna go back?
Look, at the end of the day, like I said, y'all, I knew Carmelo was going down when they first had arrested the dude. Now I'm gonna say I wasn't wrong. So there is something going on that I knew when we first covered the story the very first time. I already knew he was going to prison. That ain't come from nowhere. That's all I'm saying. That didn't come from nowhere. I knew he was going to prison. Okay.
Hey, brother. Hey, brother Rael, that was an excellent two questions you asked, or three. But were you going somewhere with that, or I wanted to see what your logic is behind it, because
Okay.
Well, my logic, my logic, because I think actually we're looking at this situation completely wrong, and because he's one of ours. I'm gonna tell you, to me, the real blame. You know who the real blame to me goes to? And I think both parents. I think both parents, sets of parents, need to see it this way. You know who's really to blame? The school. The school is the one that's really to blame. Because if it's a school event, the school officials have a duty to make sure that all children are safe.
Yep.
And
Yep,
they
you're
didn't do
right.
that.
Thank
They
you.
didn't do that.
that's a
So
good point.
So
they're going to let it play out like a racial thing because
Mm,
that allows them to not have any culpability. And they're going to
mm.
have
yes.
people on both
well,
sides fighting each other.
Oh,
When the truth of the matter is, this shit happened at a track meet, which is a school sanctioned event. This didn't happen off campus away from school. And we've seen plenty of times, parents have sued schools. The kid got beat the fuck down on a school bus. They like, hey man, y'all ain't protecting our child. They
Yep.
sue the school. It's the same thing here.
Yes.
The
Which
school,
that's a
school
the
good
though?
school
point. That's
district
a good.
has the liability because they have a duty to make sure that all children are safe. It doesn't matter if you're the visiting team or the home team. That's why a lot of times at these events, they have security, they have cops, few cops walking around to maintain the presence. Where was all of that? Because that's what should have happened. There should have been some adult when it got to a certain point that should have been like, hey, stand down. I haven't seen any evidence of that this whole time, that there was an adult that stepped in and tried to dead this shit. And that lets me know that that's negligence on the school district's part. Period.
That's an excellent
That's fair
point,
enough.
bro.
That's fair
Excellent
enough. I'm
point.
gonna say that to
Yeah,
this. I'm gonna say that to
I
this.
agree.
I'm gonna say this to that. Well,
You gonna say it
both
about
sets of parents should sue the school civilly, right? And both sets of parents should
Yep.
win that civil lawsuit.
Yep.
Both
Yep.
sets. Both sets.
Yep.
Now, if both
Hold
sets
on,
don't win,
real quick, y'all, real
there's a
quick.
lie.
Black Uru. I see you backstage, but your camera's on, brother. Your camera's on. I see you backstage. Your camera's on. Go ahead, bro.
Why you
No,
let
I
Bronx
was just making that point. I was saying
Bronx
that
been
you
up
go
here
ahead
lying?
and no, that was my point.
Bronx been up
That's
lying
a
for the
great
last 10
point. They
minutes.
should both sue the school in a civil suit, and if they both win, then it's not a race issue.
Well, I don't think it was really a race issue for the kids involved. I think the kids just doing what kids do. I think the people, the adults of it all, or even myself and others, the race part is significant to us. My thing is, at the end of the day, the person who got killed was the person who started the fight. If you start a fight with a person, I think the person who had the fight started with them, not the person starting the fight. You have an obligation to win.
But you know what
I
though?
Do as
say it's a
best you
race.
can.
I say it's a race
I give
issue. I say it's a race issue because he did not get off, and there are
Yeah.
other people who are in similar situations who got off.
Yeah,
And on top of that,
Yeah.
it's 2026. It's 2026,
but
and we
that's what the
still have
adults
all white
control.
jurors.
But
We
that's what I'm saying.
still have all white jurors
But all that stuff is
Hey,
in
controlled by
2026.
adults. So I'm saying the
right.
adults we're making it a race issue. Not I ain't saying the kids from their standpoint made it a race issue
Yeah.
at all.
Okay. Yeah.
I
Right.
think
And
I'm
what
gonna
you
When
got?
add
you
one more
make it when
thing
you
here
make it
if
a
I
race
can.
issue, you make it possible for the people who are responsible. Who is more responsible for racial issues in America? Is it the population necessarily, or has it been politicians historically who have used race to bolster themselves up and get certain positions?
It's
It's the
all
Thank
of
you,
it.
politicians.
It's
Rael.
all of it.
Rael,
It
It's the,
depends
it's
on.
the
the
but
same.
hold on, but it's the politicians because they
Thank
are
you
the
for
ones
saying it.
who monetarily benefit from decades and decades and decades of
No,
racial strife
most,
between groups.
man, you
They
cooking,
most,
Rock? Man, you
that's the
cooking,
fact.
well,
bro?
Hey, Rob.
You
most
cooking, bro?
recently, it's been the politicians more than it's been the populace. But in days past, when we talk about Jim Crow, it was the people.
It's been politicians because
Yeah.
when they was burning black towns, did they hold those white people accountable? No, they
No.
didn't.
That during
Still
those days,
still benefited. They still
no, but
benefited.
what I'm
That's my
saying,
point.
during those days, it was more of the people. During those days, it was the will of the people. It's no
No,
longer the will
no,
of the
I'm
people
not
to
saying,
keep
Brent,
racism going.
I'm not saying they're not culpable for what they're doing. I'm saying the people who have stoked those flames and kept
Yeah,
it
yeah, all the
going
politicians.
are the politicians, though.
In,
I don't
yeah,
want
in
to let the
recent
media
times,
off the
I
hook
agree.
though. Like a lot of media apparatus got involved in this and got
Media too,
involved in a lot of
absolutely,
things.
absolutely,
They're all intertwined, aren't they?
Yeah,
right.
Yes,
media run the
yes.
politicians.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
fellas. I'm gonna land my plane for today, but hey, this is a worthy conversation and everything else. Thank you very much, Roger.
Peace, bro.
Peace, God.
Peace, bro.
Peace, brother. Appreciate you.
I'm
Okay.
gonna say this. Let me just say this right
Peace.
quick. Let me just get it out. I've been watching this show called Veronica Mars, and it's a very interesting show because it shows the dynamics of how upper class white people look at lower class white people, and it shows how the lower class white people, they want to be recognized by the upper class white, and it shows how it's funny because the main character, her actual best friend on the show is a black dude, and I think it's based in California. So you see that when what this show shows is white people with money be getting into a lot of shit, a lot of shit. But the difference is that a lot of times they have the connections to help them get off of shit, and a lot of times even lower class whites are not in a position to have that type of influence like that. So if because a lot of this stuff is centered on relationships too, and you do not want to be on the opposite end when you're trying to get some justice for yourself, to have people who are buddy deciding your fate,
That's
Absolutely.
why we have.
and
That's why we have to
that's
teach
not
our.
just black.
That's why we have to teach our children
Yeah, that's
So
definitely like
they
a race and
cannot.
class issue to look at
Yeah,
there. I
they
think that another reason why we do kind of look at this in a racialized manner is because track record does matter. Like we do know that there's a track record of constantly doing these things that impact us disproportionately. And you can't look at stuff like isolated and because when you start looking at things isolated, then you don't connect the dots and you don't realize that gravity is real. It's not just that a bowling ball falls at this rate. It's not just that an apple falls at this rate. They all fall at the same rate because it's gravity.
GBL, go ahead and get well, nigga long. Say what you was trying to say, brother.
I was saying that that's why we have to teach our children to be blameless. And what I mean by that, they can't go around having weapons at all as children because you never know who you're going to get into it with. You never know who that person is connected with and how it's going to go down. Our children cannot afford to defend themselves with weapons. They just can't afford it.
Okay, and I'm gonna say that's an interesting approach, but if, I'm gonna say I think in Carmelo case he don't have a weapon, he done. I'm just keeping it real. The only reason I believe Carmelo was able to walk out of there because he got the right poke at the right time, and it shut everything down. Now instead of worrying about trying to gang up on Carmelo, they was worrying about this boy dying.
Hey
So
Roger, when you say done, what do you mean? Beat up, killed? I mean, unalived? What are you saying?
because they're children, more than likely, maybe they don't thump them out quick enough to die because there's adults there somewhere. But by the time they get to him, he probably gonna have permanent damage. And because of he's in stands, it's a good chance this man gonna come out with like he's gonna be paralyzed in some kind of way. You know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna have people jumping on him, hitting him, kicking him, and stomping on him. And you, if you're in stands, it's real easy to give somebody a nice permanent injury with them stands being the way they are.
You don't
And
think
he
there's
is
a
an athlete,
possibility
so
of
he
that
doesn't want to
happening in
get
prison?
injured.
No.
Well,
The thing is, the thing is, I rather take my chance of it later than take my chance of it now.
nah.
If I gotta get hurt, I'm always pick later.
You cannot condone your child having a weapon on school grounds for any reason under any circumstance. That's a bad precedent to set.
You're gonna be in a disadvantage in that shit.
Now, I
You
know.
are.
I mean, I totally understand that, and remember when y'all asked me the question earlier, if it's a black kid going to a black school, I said no, okay, because you know what I'm saying. My thing is let it be necessary first. When it was going to school with the white people, I had to think. I said I would like to say no, but I don't know if I trust white people like that. That's a real thing.
I mean, but that goes back to black people's conundrum. I mean, you can't say white people are these evil people, but you break your neck to try to integrate with them to go to school with them. I mean, which one is it, man?
I wouldn't.
And I don't know, you guys, when we talked about protection and all this, like, are you guys moving in like tactical gear throughout your day, or are you just staying exclusively in just black neighborhoods? Or whenever the white folks come around, I gotta get my, whatever weapons or whatever and guard myself because I might get attacked. Are you guys moving like this?
No, actually, the first time I ever had to pull a gun on somebody was a white guy. The first
But
guy I ever
that,
had to up a burner on was a white guy.
Bronk, I empathize with what you said, but I'm just saying, are you moving like this amongst these white folks?
I'm
Yes,
gonna
I
say
live out there. I live out here with white folks, and I leave my house with a gun every day.
Right.
once three white people into the room, I have a whole different alert system going on. I'm looking at stuff way different if it's three white people in the room. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I
Maybe
may be
just
There's
me,
more
many
man,
people
but I
relaxed.
out here who
don't.
most
They
likely don't want
don't.
me
They
out there.
don't.
I've had
They don't worry with
situations
me
where I've
like
been
that.
on the road, white people road
I'm,
raging
I,
and stuff. I don't know what these people got in their car. I don't look. I don't play those games.
I'm a little more
Yeah,
relaxed around black people. I'm just keep it real. I'm much more relaxed around black people. I see three
Yeah.
white people. I'm on a different. It's different now for me.
Yeah, the
even on 40
entitlement puts you on
on
alert.
43rd too, Roger. Even on
Even on
43rd.
43rd,
yeah,
you
for
really
real.
better worry about the white people on 43rd.
Yeah.
Okay, brother.
Okay. All right.
All right, Roger.
Okay.
No, and my thing is, I don't want to say ain't no good white people out there. I know some good white people. Real talk. I actually know some good white people personally. But if I'm in a situation where it's 3 white people around that I do not know, I'm at a different setting alert, and I'm keeping it real. If I go to a grocery store, there's a bunch of white people there. I'm moving a little bit different. If I go to the mall, it's a bunch of white folks there. I'm moving a little bit different. I'm always move a little bit different if it's a bunch of white folks around. It just is what it is. You know, I feel more comfortable relaxing at home, or at least something that seems like home.
But Roger, it's difficult to have these type of conversations because everything that we've been taught our whole lives is to be leery and wary of white people. But then at the same time, the very black people who tell you about Jim Crow and all of these things, and I'm not minimizing any of that, but it's not like we haven't had our areas of struggles as well. It seems like they tell you how scary and leery you need to be of white people, but they always want to push you to prove yourself to white people. They want you to ingratiate yourself with white people. They want you to be with white people, work with white people, all of these types of things. Everything that black people have been taught for the past 60 plus years has been about going to school, get a degree so you can get that job with these white folks. Now, all of a sudden, we have these certain issues that come up with certain types of black people that most of these black people really do not even want to even live around, and a lot of times they don't. All of a sudden, these become the beacons of like, see, you got to watch out for white people. Well, which one is it? Should we integrate with white people, or should we be segregated? Because most of the time I see black people talking, they trying to get to that white looking shit.
Man,
I
I'm
can
gonna
answer
say
that
this.
actually.
You
I have
spit,
a
you
reason
spitting too
why.
much, Rael. You
No,
spitting too
I'm
much,
just
bro.
saying.
I have a response to that actually. Like the reason why we end up doing that, and realistically, it's going to be because of the access to the broader economy. Like I don't know if you've ever like read the book like The Color of Money, Black Banking in America. Like a lot of reasons why a lot of like our black banks kind of failed was because of a lack of access to the bigger, broader economy. Like when you have this little small thing over here and you have that big piece of the pie over there, you're going to have to get some piece of that bigger pie if you're really going to survive in the capitalistic system.
That's false
You,
because
you, you, you,
from 1886 to 1934, we had 134 black-owned banks come into existence, and we had white people putting their money in black-owned banks. That's false. Absolutely
We
false.
don't have them now. Like it didn't
Because
survive.
you want to know why? Because we integrated and started putting our money in white-owned banks. That's why.
But before
mm.
before we even ended up with integration, we had the Freedman Bank end up failing. Like
No,
this
no,
isn't
no,
like
no,
some
no.
magical thing.
The Freedman Bank was set up through the government. I'm talking about private banks set up by black people. The Freedman Bank went bankrupt because Frederick Douglass didn't do a good job of being a steward over the bank, and people took
Frederick
advantage
Douglass
of the
was a
Freedman's Bank.
scapegoat.
Hold on. We're talking
You
about
spit.
134. Hold on, we're talking about 134 black-owned banks from 1886 to 1934. You cannot tell me that black people did not have the capacity to build wealth when you have Black Wall Street and all of these different black cities that did that. You cannot say that. That is impossible.
What happened to
We
those,
had did
Ryan?
we
What
did we
ended up
have
happening to
limitations?
Black
Did we
Wall
have
Street?
limitations? Hold on, we
Hold
had
on.
limitations. We had limitations, but I'm saying you can't keep saying that white people are the problem. But in order for us to get it advanced in society, we got to be around white people because these foreigners don't believe that.
Uh, uh,
They circulate their capital amongst their own, and that's
They're
my point.
also floated by the
You
bigger
being
economy,
too
though.
too much
okay.
realness. Too much realness.
No, because I'm gonna say real talk. I ain't never promoted being around white people like that. If you do, I understand there's a risk you take when you spend a lot of time around them, and I've said time and time again, one of black people's biggest problems is hanging around white people too much. You start picking
Hey,
up tendencies like them. I didn't say this several times.
Mm.
So I do understand what Rael is saying because I do understand that type of stuff has been preached since I was a little kid. So I know that's out there too. You got to make your decision what you think is right for your life. Now, I respect everybody's right to make their decision as a man of which road they trying to take. Even when it comes to women, it's like what bed you gonna cling on to. Is you gonna be on his path, or if you out there by yourself, you got to deal with being out there by yourself. When it comes down to it, I saw, you know what I'm saying? I know, not that I saw it because I wasn't there. A guy grabbed up my son. That's how I'm looking at it. Guy grabs up my son. My son defends himself at a rate that he believes is necessary. Ain't nowhere in the world you finna get me to second guess my son on how he had to defend himself. It's that simple to me. I don't care what color the dude is. If dude got to die for my son to be okay, I can live with that. It's that simple. I just don't want to hear about my son being the person grabbing somebody up. Now, if I hear my son grabbing somebody else, if they don't mess him up, Lord knows I am. He gonna have hell to pay when he get home.
I was more
That's
fearful. I
real.
was more fearful of my dad. My dad was the police to me, and I didn't do like that. Man would have knocked my head off my shoulders. So it's just certain things that I just was never going to do. It's just certain things I just was never going to do. Even when he thought I had took his gun, I was looking at him like, Dad, why would you think I would put my hands on it? Because I knew better. I knew not to touch that. That was a no go. You know what I'm saying? So I think I think honestly, man, we're sending black people way too many mixed messages about certain stuff, man. And we're leaving a lot of black people, especially young black people, very confused. What are we really standing on? Are we standing on super black shit? Or is it just situational? If it's
Yes,
going to be
situational.
situational, sorry, man, we're putting black people at a disadvantage, especially young black people, because we're telling them to be so gung ho on some shit, and then they go out here and do some gung ho shit, and then we're gonna leave them out to dry. I don't support that, man.
Well, I don't support creating confusion amongst them either. But like I said, y'all, I done said stuff plenty of times about leaving people alone. Carmelo wasn't bothering nobody. They bothered him. He responded. I'm not second guessing him. He was there. He had his threat assessment. He did what he believed he needed to do to be okay. He came out okay. I got to take that victory.
That's a victory, Roger.
Yeah, I do. You the person dead or seriously injured, or you the person that's still alive and fine. Yeah, I'm gonna say that's a victory because everything's about relative. It's all relative. Carmelo didn't go looking for no fight. Carmelo's just survived some white people doing white people stuff. Now, I don't think it was just all white because again, the lawyers. Well, what got reported from the people who was in the courtroom said every one of these kids was Austin's friends. Those are more potential threats to me. If I'm him in that day, in that situation, everybody who testified is somebody who was either hitting me or kicking on me when they start beating on me.
Roger, man.
So why go to the tent in the first place if they're his friends and not your friends?
Well, understand this ain't my son. Because if he's my son, he may have never went to that tent. Because I'm sure most of our parents have told us some of these friends ain't your actual friends.
Were you in high school? Were you able to determine who was really on your side and who wasn't on your side when you was in high school, Roger?
On top of this, we're talking about different schools too. Like, so it's not like he necessarily knew like Austin like that beforehand.
I'm saying, okay, I'm gonna ask this question. When you were in school, when you were school age, when you were his age, did you know what people or what places that was really not really good for you to be at or the type of people to be around? Did you really know that?
Put it like this. I was a kid, so of course I don't know it like I know now. I'm gonna just throw that out there. Of course I didn't know it like I know now. But I'm gonna say I did have some friends doing some stuff that because I did have a father to answer to, I couldn't justify being there in the first place. One of my very best friends, as I got to know him, cool kid. Later on, as you started to figure stuff out, yeah, he was selling drugs like a mug. You go to his crib, guns all over the place. Me, I ain't never go to his crib. It is what it is. Once I figure certain stuff out, hey, we cool at school. I can't kick it with you like that. It is what it is. Because and it wasn't just what his situation was, is if I get caught at that house with that stuff in that house, I got to answer the people about it. The people I had to answer to, just like you said you had to answer your father. I'm thinking about them. I'm not thinking police. I'm not thinking I'm going to get a drug case on me. No, I'm thinking I got to explain this to my mom and dad. And I wasn't going to explain it. So I just didn't go.
For me, and I'm just speaking for me, it was certain motherfuckers I knew to stay away from. It's certain places I didn't go to. Hell, when I was in college, I didn't even go to no damn parties. I wasn't putting myself in no situation where I could be blamed for something I did not do. Period. And that's how I haven't been to a party since 1999. I don't go to parties, man. I don't go to parties. I don't go to clubs because I'm not trying to die over a bitch I don't want. It's just certain things that I'm sorry, man. Like at a certain point, man, if we gonna be self-righteous, we need to be self-intelligent too. And it's just certain shit you just don't put yourself in the mix of. At the end of the day, he was remorseful because his intention was not to do that. Like we could take this as some black victory, but the truth of the matter is, man, this dude is compromised in a very bad way as a young man. And when I was his age, I didn't give a damn what people was doing around. I never felt any peer pressure to do no dumb shit to try to get some points with some motherfuckers. I never looked at people being that important to me. You know what I'm saying? Like my family was important to me, and I was making sure I didn't do nothing to get caught up. Because my duty is to get my ass back home safely. So if that means I got to take the fuck off and run, I'm taking the fuck off and run. Call me whatever you want to, but I'm safe.
I mean,
that's just the bottom line. Like when you in public, man, you can only control you. When you at home, you can be yourself. When you in public, you can only control you. You can't control what other motherfuckers do, especially in a stand your ground state, because you don't know what is going on, and you got to be very. We see with certain people that's out here that's walking around trying to start stuff with black people. I'm not saying that was the case in this. Well, he did try to bully him, but in general, like there are certain types of people that will try to come at you on a certain level, specifically because they think they got the goods and they know people that can get them out of shit.
Man.
So you got to be very careful on how you let somebody else control your emotions, man. Like that's just the truth, man. I don't feel no inferiority to white people, period. Long as you don't put your hands on me, I'm Gucci. Once you lay your hand on me, it's on. It's on.
But that's what Karmelo did, and he told me.
I'm saying before it even get to the point where it's like, if I know I got the poker, I know I got a certain advantage over this person. So I already know that going into the situation. If I know I got that poker, okay, and that is what they were looking at too. I'm not saying we can sit here and debate right or wrong subject, whatever the case may be, because we're on his side. I don't want to see the brother even being forced to have to make that kind of decision. Get the fuck up out of there, bro. Get the fuck up out of there.
Right, we don't want to talk about that. We're black men. We're strong. We don't run. We don't retreat. We don't move.
No, the thing is, as I said several times, that's gonna be the first thing that's gonna come to everybody's mind. He could walk away. Maybe he could, maybe he couldn't. But when it come down to it, when you in the situation, you in it. Now I'm gonna say I ain't gonna second guess. Why can't Karmelo just be right? I don't have any information to say he's truly wrong.
Roger, you remember that story in Florida when that crazy white dude was in the parking lot and he said something to that black woman when she was in the car with her children, and she went to her her
Yeah.
boyfriend, and she got him all riled up, and then he went over there to confront the dude,
Got lit
and
up.
then he pushed him. He pushed the dude down, and then guess what? He got shot. Didn't black people say
Got
that was wrong?
I mean, I'm sure they did. I know what you're talking about. You know, the
Was the white dude wrong?
Yeah, and he actually got charged, by the way.
Hold on. But I'm saying, see how
Convicted.
see how there's no uniformity when you change
no.
the race.
no,
You see how there's no uniformity.
my thing is,
Why? But hold on, Roger. That's what I'm trying to say. There is no uniformity.
Nope.
Either it's right on one side and it's wrong on the other
That-
side, or it's
I don't
right all the
understand.
time.
I'm
That's
trying
all
to
I'm saying.
understand where the lack of uniformity is. Because if you're talking about just people ain't gonna never be uniform, and I already
But
have
that's
accepted
my
that.
that is my point, Roger. So why you want to leave your fate up to that?
Yeah,
No,
well, that white guy was
I
arguing
got
because
legs.
he.
I can run. I can use them motherfuckers.
no.
Cause hold on. What I'm saying is, when you're in public with your children and your woman, you're not. Your job is not to prove how tough you are. Your job is to get you and them home.
I
That's your
I'm not.
job.
shit.
No. The whole thing is, I'm not. I ain't said nothing against that. At the end of the day, Carmelo was in the situation. He knows what was happening. What I'm doing is not second guessing him. What I'm cool with, he was there, he made his decision, and I'm backing that man on his decision. Now, can people say he could walk away? You always can say somebody can walk away. Is that always going to truly be the case? Sometimes it will be, sometimes it won't.
But
I don't.
Roger, the same black people that's celebrating him go to jobs where they get talked to any kind of way by white people, and they don't do shit.
Nothing.
They don't do nothing.
Yes,
They
sir,
gonna
boss.
tell you what you should do, and if that was me, I'll do this and I'll do that and all that bullshit. But then when it's Mr. Johnson right there, yes, sir, Mr. Johnson, I'll do that.
Well, when they
Don't be a
start, well, hold on
revolutionary.
now.
Don't be
When
a
they,
revolutionary online, man.
well, when you're talking about that, and a white person makes a hostile work environment, now they start filing lawsuits. So that's your response to that.
Yeah, but that's most of the time black people don't use human resources to do that because they're scary.
I'm gonna say at the end of the day, I totally get what you're saying, and yes, there's gonna be people who do that. Now, let a white man talk to me at a job, and he think it's gonna be sweet. He gonna find out something else. So I get what you're saying, but I'm the person who ain't gonna let the white guy talk crazy to him. I'm the guy who ain't gonna let nobody talk crazy to me. Just because we at work, and I've literally said that to a person back in the day. I said, bro, just because we at work don't mean you safe.
Yeah, I was 16 when I did it to this white dude, but I'm saying when I did it at 16, the older black dude, when I told the white dude I would crack his forehead with that cash register, the black dude was like, "Hey, don't say that." Even though he was being disrespectful to me, and I told him straight up, I said, "I ain't the one you got to worry about." I said, "Senior is the one you got to worry about," and
No,
that was my dad.
I totally get you. I totally
So
get you.
I'm saying like, but even then, it was. I recognized that this dude was out of pocket, but I was in the right environment to do certain stuff. This was employee to employee. You know what I'm saying, and I'm just saying that, man, we know how. Look, I wouldn't care if the person was a black person with a quote unquote higher class in terms of money doing the same shit. A bully is a fucking bully. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that you don't have to deal with a bully sometimes, but it's how you deal with them at what certain kind of time to deal with them. And so for me, like, I'm just like, man, people want to see their children come home safely, man. We cannot be sitting here saying shit as adults that sound good on the internet that can put young people lives in danger. When we know a lot of these same black people ain't gonna do that shit when it's time for them to stand on business, man.
But
So one thing black people do need to remember is that if a white person is actually coming at you, just assume that they have something that's going to give them the advantage. That's one of the reasons they're doing it. That's to me, that's the whole point.
Thank you.
It's,
Thank
it's not
you.
it's not
Thank
just
you.
about the racial advantages. Look, they also have a weapon advantage, a blunt object advantage. They have the racial
Yes.
advantage, the entitlement advantage. Like they're coming at you with the advantage, and they know that. That's why they're doing it. So now you have to figure out that situation and respond appropriately. And you
Thank
always
you.
have to maintain your leverage and be in the right. Now look, we understand that that's
That's
difficult
what I'm saying. That's
and
all I'm
there's some
saying.
ego involved, but the bottom line is that you are not going to get the latitude to do what it is they're doing because of how our society operates. Because there is a racial dynamic.
and my thing is, I agree with both of y'all. And I'm gonna say this to wrap it up because we passed that 3 hour mark. I agree with both of y'all on that, and that's why my thing is I'm not second guessing Carmelo Anthony's threat assessment. He made his threat assessment. He made his response. He made it back home. That's what I want my son to do. Real talk. We can talk about all this other stuff later. And I'm saying this already knowing that Carmelo done got 35 years. He did what I needed him to do, and that's make it home. Now we'll deal with this 35 years later. We're gonna do the appeal and all that type of stuff. But I need Carmelo to make it home. And when the information I have, but that I have understanding as of now, to me, his life was definitely in danger. And he made it home. He made a good move. And I would like my son to do the same if he was faced in the same situation. Now I'm saying that on some real talk. Okay. If I was in that situation, I may have did the exact same thing. Because when I was in a similar situation, I did something somewhat similar. It is what it is. To me, your personal safety is of the utmost importance, and then we'll figure the rest of it out later. That's what it is when it's my son.
Good
You
point.
know,
Now, Roger, I did come back up to make a point. You guys, we got away from it for a little bit, but I don't want it to get lost in the
go,
transmission there because
go
there
ahead.
might be some people listening. I think it might be a valid point.
Go
You
ahead.
guys were talking about how black people were trying to be next to white people and that's not what it was. Somebody did mention it was about resources, right? When you have a group of people that hoard the majority of the resources, it's not about getting next to them. It's about getting access to those resources. Now, remember, when desegregation happened, it wasn't because black and white people wanted that. Neither group wanted it. It was forced and directed by the United States government, which is why there's still hostility to this day. That being said, what was supposed to happen is as black people were supposed to be integrated into society, the white people were supposed to behave better too. That's never happened, and that's the problem. There ain't really nothing inherently wrong being around white people. The problem is that there's a segment of them who are not going to be good people, and they're going to always try to do things to harm black people just because they can, and just because they know society's going to back them up on it. They haven't become good people. That's the problem. They were supposed to be better, but they're not, and that's why we're still in this situation to this day. That's the problem.
All right. Now I think I'm gonna wrap it up. Well, no placeholder I brought you up, but I don't know. I'm assuming you came for the back show, but I was kind of quick, and so if you just hit for the back show, that's cool. See. So, well, do you have anything you wanted to say before we close it out? Because if you wanted
Not
to,
in
I'll
public,
let you.
Roger. Not in public.
Okay, cool. All right, y'all. Well, we are past the 3 hour mark. For those who may be new and don't know, we do about a 3 hour show. We passed that mark. Everybody hit that like button. Okay. Something you liked about this. We had enough of the different sides represented. And at the end of the day, y'all, I'm just saying for me personally, I need my son to come home first. We can figure the rest of it out later. Just come home first. Okay. And I'm not gonna second guess Carmelo. Man, maybe other people will, but I ain't gonna second guess him. He did what he thought he needed to do. He made it home. That's what I need you to do as my son. Okay. So everything else we can figure out. But I need you to do that as my son. But I want y'all to have a wonderful rest of y'all day. Hey, when it comes to the other family, because Austin had a brother and a mother and a father. Hey. I know it's tough to lose your son. But in reality, your son shouldn't have did what he did. Now I can, what I'm saying, feel sorry for you, but that's the reality. Your son shouldn't have did what he did. And this is why I'm 100% for leaving people alone. You bother people, you take a chance at death. That's your reality. It's not PC. It ain't comfortable, but that is reality. When you bother people, you open yourself up to death. which is why I don't bother people. All right. Y'all have a good rest of y'all day. Long live habitual line steppers. We'll be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. I'm Roger. I'm right. And I'm out.